and really everywhere, to do business a Christian way. People will interact with one another, the businesses interact with each other, and the whole idea is that the business community would be spirit-led and would be like a light shining in the marketplace. So when we come together like this, we are coming to interact, to meet each other, to know what it is that we are doing, and really for us to be together in business.
Yes, and this year we have some exciting news. CBF is collaborating with the young professionals. Where are my young professionals? We can just give them a round of applause as they stand and just wave to us. This might be your chance to exhibit yourself before we go to the next program. Thank you, young professionals. Yes, you may have your seats.
And we must confess, you let them sit too quickly. This is an exhibition, and you know, the young professionals can exhibit themselves for free.
Yes.
You have that opportunity, you know. You never know what can happen from here. But let me just tell you something that really amazed us, some of us who have been in this CBF for a while. We had young professionals come in with our committee, and really the things that they have done, the things that they have shown us, we have a lot of people, a lot, not many, a lot as in watu kadhaa, wengi,
Yes.
that have brilliant minds. They are able to come up with great ideas. They are good with graphics. They are good with social media. We have seen things that really we had not seen earlier on. And we thought that between Ken and myself, we had it, and a few other people like us, that we had it all together. But really, we know that there's a new generation of people that is coming up that is talented, that are full of ideas, creativity, and are going to change how things are running. So well done, young professionals. We are very happy to have you.
Thank you so much. So as we go into the program, we have the programs placed on your table, so feel free to just follow through the program. So right at this point, we'd like to acknowledge businesses as per the years that you have been in business. So we'd like to know anyone who has a business, an existing business that is more than 20 years, you can just raise your hand.
Those who have been doing business for over 20 years.
20 years.
Na hujafungwa.
Oh, yes, we do. Let's just clap for them. 10 years to 20 years.
Wow.
Yes. Then we do 5 to 10 years. Raise your hand higher. Your next investor.
Don't be shy. It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay to have done business for a shorter period of time.
Yes.
Some of you is because you are young. Others is that you were sacked a little bit not too long ago and resulted in being in business. Whatever reason.
Yes.
It's good that you're in business.
Let's do 0 to 5 or 1 to 5. 1 to 5. And the biggest group, the most people will benefit from this, the businesses that are in the mind. How many are we? How many are we? Yes, clap for yourselves, because you are in the right place.
Yes.
Feel at home. This is the place that you should be. You are meant to be here and you belong.
You're definitely business people. If it's in the mind, that's where everything starts. You cannot put something on the ground unless it starts in the mind. But please, don't just leave it in the mind sitting there for the next 10 years. You can start today, you can plant it, and part of the reason why we are here today is to see how we get going in that regard. So by next year, when we say 1 to 5 years, we'll probably want to have many more hands going up. But karibuni sana.
Thank you very much. For this business expo to happen, we have partnered with very good sponsors who have been part and parcel of this day. And as you can see them, they're right here and they're amongst us. Allow us to just mention them by name. We have Kingdom Bank, a subsidiary of the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. Yes, we can give them a round of applause.
Kingdom Bank has always supported us over the years. Every year that we have been here, Kingdom Bank has supported us, and we are really grateful for that. We also have Dayspring Ventures. We shall meet them a bit later, but they're part of the sponsoring group.
Yes. We have Hope Media.
We also have Homelink Mabati.
Extreme Pottery Farm. Yes, we have CTI Hospital by a young professional. Yes.
We also have CPF Rukisha.
And sorry for that. Robisearch Limited. For anyone who has been online this week, we have been trending on Twitter by the help of Robisearch. So we can just give them a louder clap, yes.
And finally, we have TMD Kenya, which is thicker motor dealers. Let's appreciate them as well.
Yes.
Thank you very, very much for all our sponsors. We appreciate it would not have been the same without you. And we hope that you'll also come back again next year, God willing.
Yes, so for the next part, we'll call a few of the sponsors to just give us a word, and we will start with Dayspring.
Let's start with Dayspring. Dayspring, for those of you, I'll invite our brother Newton Minor to come on stage. And even as he comes, Dayspring, I tell you, their work is to remove water from holes. In other words, they dig boreholes. If rain, rain is very unreliable for the many farmers. Their water is completely reliable, and they have dug many boreholes all over the country. If you go to the Sahara, you will find that they'll be able to get you water there. They say, you name it, they'll drill it. If you need anything, they're going to do it for you. So I would like to welcome Newton to come and give us a few words about your organization. Karibu sana.
Karibu sana.
All right, thank you very much. All protocols observed, good morning. My name is Newton Minor, sales engineer at Dayspring Ventures. Dayspring Ventures Limited is a solar energy and water engineering company. And what we basically do is provide water and energy. So from, like our moderator said, we sink boreholes, we equip them with pumps either powered through mains power or solar energy. And at the same time, we also treat that water, and we also provide solar energy solutions for homes and for businesses as well. We are located in Nanyuki, and we also have satellite offices in Nakuru and along the Eastern Bypass. So feel free to pass by our stand for more information on how we can do such projects, either at your institutions or homes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Dayspring, may we give him a round of applause? Next, we will invite CPF Rukisha. CPF Rukisha, they are saving and investment wizards. They make sure that every time you spend, a little coin sneaks into your future. Let's welcome Gloria Kaari.
Good morning and praise the Lord. So my name is Gloria from Rukisha. What makes us unique? Everything you spend on Rukisha, there's something you save. And our main agenda in Rukisha is to ensure that we have a saving culture. We don't have a saving culture on everyday usage of our money. So we ensure that in Rukisha, with every transaction that you make, at least something is saved on your, we call it save as you spend. We have a tent that we can teach you more on all the products that we offer, because we've been given 5 minutes, so I'm not able to tell you all about the products that we are offering, but we are situated in Nairobi, Langata, and all the towns. We have an office. Thank you very much, and have a good day, and please interact with everyone so that you know what everyone else is coming to do here. Thank you very much, and be blessed.
Thank you very much, Rukisha. She says their key slogan is SAYS, which is save as you spend. Yes, SAYS. You say save as you spend, and that's Rukisha. Next, we are having HomeLink Mabati. Basically, whenever you look at a building, the first thing that strikes you is the roof. And these guys are all about roofing. In other words, they have you covered. Where things are being roofed, they have you covered. And they are one of the best Mabati makers in Kenya. Let me invite Veronica Minor to tell us a little bit more about that.
Thank you so much. Good morning. My name is Veronica Maina from Homelink Mabati. On behalf of our director, Catherine Kathure, apologies made. She could not have made it today. So that's why I'm here. I'm one of the sales representatives at Homelink Mabati, where we offer a large varieties of Mabati, starting from V-tile, prime tile, box profile, corrugated profile, and their accessories. So there we are located at Ruiru along the Eastern Bypass, Vic and 30 Road, behind Afrosayari. That is where we are located. And our office line is 0794 8000 00. And you are all welcome to purchase Mabati, crown your home with our Mabati. And thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. So to just appreciate our chief guest, Honorable Didi Nyoro, who is in the house. We are honored to have you at the CBF breakfast today. Next, we will invite CTI Hospital. And before CTI comes up, I'd like to say that speaking of cover, CTI helps you to see the world clearly. Yeah? From your neighbors' WhatsApp groups, yeah, to your business bottom line. They are not just about sight, they are also about insight. And I'm privileged to invite one of the young professionals, Midhamo Kibata, to represent CTI Hospital. Let's clap for him until he gets to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I am the Midhamo Kibata, as you've heard about. So thank you so much, our moderators, for the introduction. You know, at times it's good to have someone introduce you. You learn things about yourself or your company that you didn't know. So thank you so much. As Maureen has said, we are CTI Hospital. But before I talk about CTI, I just want to talk about one of the most important statistics that I feel is important for eye care. That statistic says that 80 to 90% of eye care problems can be completely avoided or prevented or treated if they are managed early enough. If they are managed early enough. I'll repeat that statistic again. 80 to 90% of all eye care problems can be prevented or treated if they are managed well and early. So that is what we are about in CTI Hospital. Our work is to make sure that you don't end up with an eye care problem that cannot be treated. Why? Because we feel and we believe that if those eye care problems are treated and managed early enough, you do not even need to come to the hospital. So now some brief history about CTI. CTI started in 2015 by our founder, Dr. Amos Kibata Gideko. We've been in existence for close to 10 years now. In 2022, we opened the Nyeri branch to be able to bring eye care to the Mount Kenya region. So far, if we look at last year alone, we've been able to treat 40,000 patients in the Nyeri branch. That is through the hospital. Thank you very much. That is through the hospital and also the outreach programs. We've also been able to do 2,500 sight restoring surgeries on people in the Mount Kenya region. And that tells you that there is a need. But that also tells you that we still have a lot more work to do in terms of creating awareness. Because you should not get to the point where you need surgery. That should never happen. We should be able to catch those problems early enough. And that's why I invite each one of you, please pass by our booth, learn more about eye care. You might be here, you can see fine. But if you look around at the vehicles here, most people here take their cars to the garage before a problem occurs, so that a problem does not occur. So that is the approach we also need to have with healthcare. So please pass by our booth, get to learn more about us. Asanteni sana for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Midhamo, and all our sponsors feel appreciated, and you are right here. We just want to mention that all our sponsors will be having their tents right outside at the beginning, from Kingdom Bank, Dayspring, Homelink Mabati, Extreme Pottery Farm, CTI Hospital, CPF Rukisha, Robisearch Limited, and TMD Kenya. So at the next juncture, we'd like to welcome one of our other sponsors, who happens to also be the chairman of the CBF committee and the HOD, Citam Nyeri CBF. Let's welcome Ken Kiora. However, we can give a round of applause to our keynote speaker, Dr. Wale, as he comes in. Let's continue with the clapping until he gets to his seat. Karibu sana, welcome. Thank you so much. As they settle in, just a reminder that the CBF 2025 Breakfast and CBF 2025 Expo, our theme for the year is Transformed to Transform, in collaboration with the young professionals. So at this point, I'll invite one of our other sponsors who happens to also be our chairman for the CBF Nyeri chapter, Ken Kiora, and the Extreme Pottery Farm, who will take us through the next session.
As Ken
Karibu
comes.
sana, Ken.
Karibu sana, Ken.
Hello, good and blessed people. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Very good. You know, I am told that when the stomach is full, blood is shifted from the brain so that they can help in digestion and absorption of the food. So at times people, when they eat, they are not very attentive because, again, food is also a very, very strong stimulus. I was in school and I never saw anybody dozing in the dining hall, but I saw them dozing in a chemistry lab. So we appreciate your coming. Thank you so much. Tell your neighbor, asante for coming. In fact, tap their shoulder and tell them, asante for coming. Yeah, thank you so much. Our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I take this great privilege and pleasure to welcome you to this year's 2025 CBF Breakfast and Expo. This is something that we do every day of the year. But we come together for us to sharpen ourselves. Every once in a year. It's quite a major ministry event, and we want to highly appreciate our guests for honoring our invitation. Thank you so much and feel so much welcome, Mheshimiwa and Daktari. Thank you so much. Now, CBF, as has been said earlier, is heavily about building, mostly and mainly about building our capacities. And because I am known by Dr. Sang as a person who tells stories, in science, there is something called the Ohm's law that talks about internal resistance. And when you have a very thin cable, it is not able to transmit a lot of current because the thinner the cable, the higher the internal resistance. And the thicker the cable, the lower the internal resistance, and therefore it is able to transmit a lot more current. And that is why you find if you want to power a gadget that consumes more power, then you need to thicken to work on the size of the cable so that it can be able to transmit the current and power the gadget that you want to power. So we meet together so that we can increase the size of our cables, so to speak. We meet together so that we can increase the size of our capacity and lower the internal resistance that prevents businesses from growing. I hope I'm being understood. We meet together to build our capacities, and that is why we invest so much in this, and it is a very, very key thing. And so please be expectant, have some very, very expectant hearts, and most importantly, get out of this place. And as I always tell people that knowledge, when we were growing up, they were telling us that knowledge is power. And you know, as we grow up, there are some of those sayings that we are editing. You know, like we used to be told, aliye juu mungoje chini. Nowadays, aliye juu mufikie uko. Don't wait for them. Because unless you are a witch, that's when you can pray for somebody to come to where you are if you are down. So we are editing some of those things. We grew up being told knowledge is power. As we grew up, we asked ourselves, is knowledge really power? Saying knowledge is power is like saying petrol is equal to a journey. If you take petrol and you put it in a mtungi or a kibuyu, and then you sit on it, you have petrol. But will it take you anywhere? It will not. Petrol will only take you somewhere when it is acted upon. So knowledge is not really power. Knowledge is potential power. When you act on it, then it becomes real power. Just like the way petrol in a jerrycan will not move you from point A to point B, but when it is acted upon by a four-stroke engine, something we call induction, compression, power, and exhaust strokes, the four strokes of an engine, and it is able now to be transformed from, chemical energy to kinetic energy. Am I so energetic? Very good. So we come here to soak up knowledge, to soak up information, but please don't stop there. Go and use that knowledge. When knowledge is used, it becomes powerful. And we have a very, very practical example. Please, Simama, one of our moderators, Maureen. Maureen is one of our moderators and one of our members here. Please come over. Why I'm calling this girl is because here we have a tendency of doing what we call business showers. When you are opening a business, we come there and we come with money. So we come there and we eat, you prepare food for us, just a snack. People with money don't eat much. It's true. So we come, take a snack, and we buy profusely. In fact, you sell to us something 1,000, we offer 1,500. That's what we do. We are CBF. Hello? So this girl, I want to give her testimony on her behalf. She came here last time, and as a result of the impact that she received from here, she went, started a business which is doing very well, and today she's come as an exhibitor, and please visit her tent. It is started here, a time like now, an idea that was transformed into something tangible. Today is a business that is able to take a tent and do an exhibition. Thank you so much, Maureen, and may you continue prospering. Now, please, at this particular point, allow me to introduce the team that has put this together. Please come over my CBF task force. If you can hear me, be a bit quick. We are all young. This time around, we teamed up with the young professionals just to bring this together because we've realized that at times we kept on being told, go to school, get employment, the 1, 2, 3, 4. Get one wife, 3-bedroomed house, 2 children, and a 4x4. But this time around, we are also encouraging the young people so that they can also think entrepreneurship. And I know our chief guest is very, very passionate about that. Just to encourage them to join a business. And from my very extreme end, without any order, allow me to introduce that is Elizabeth. Elizabeth is our FAO and very, very key. Elizabeth Inua Mukono, when the chairman calls you, you lift up your hand. God bless you. That is Elizabeth, our very good FAO, Finance and Administration. And next to her, we have Victoria of Victoria Bites. She has a tent there. And you clap for my committee. And then we have got Paul. Paul is our media guru. He does all our media things that we want to go out there, especially videos. Then we have Winnie, very, very strong, deep, and very calm. Then we have Midamo Kibata. This is part of the young professionals, and this is Robert, the mathematician. He only compares with Carrie Francis. This is Robert, mathematician. Please lift up your hand, mathematically. Very good. Yeah, he's a chair of the young professionals, or the HOD of the young professionals here. This is my big brother, Wanjohi. Wanjohi is a mechanic. He likes introducing himself like that. He's a mechanical engineer. Then this is Happiness Ndanu. Happiness makes us happy. Every time she's there, we don't require any more happiness. We have our own happiness. This is Nyeri, Kirera. This is a whole team of young professionals. These guys are great. This is Florence, very deep and good organizer. This is Engineer Brian. Engineer Brian, anything that you see scripted here, Engineer Brian, whatever was going out there, those flyers that were telling you that I'll be exhibiting, I'll be attending, a very deep guy here. You consult him and real time he does what you want. I wonder how he is able to manage that, but I will spend a bit of time with him. One thing I know that he is bearded and bearded brothers. Very good. And this is Caro. Caro is an insurance consultant. Caro, when I mentioned your name, I said you lift up your hand. Thank you. I harassed them a little bit. And then we have Rosemary. Rosemary is doing some logistics somewhere, Wakili. I'm sure she will be joining us soon. We have Dewa Mongoi. Dewa Mongoi is bereaved. He's laid his grandmother to rest recently, and so he is not able to join us. Thank you so much, my committee. You can take your seats. And now at this particular point, it is my singular pleasure. Please allow me to put up our hands together to have some 2 minutes that I will allocate to our member here who also represents us in the August House, Honorable DMM. Just some 2 minutes, and then just say hi to the congregation. I know these people are used to you.
Thank you, my brother Ken. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. I am still in parliament and I am still born again. Dr. Wale, my mentor, Honorable Didi Nyoro, our senior pastors, and Mr. Kuria, CBF, Nairobi. Is it gone? Yeah. I am again delighted to be in your presence, my colleagues, and my bosses, and my brethren. My task this morning is very, very simple: to welcome our eminent guests, to come and open our minds about business. I hope those of us whose businesses are still in their minds, this morning, this will be your reward. And by the time we leave, your business will be born. The labor ward is in the hospital where our wives and our sisters go and come back with the burden of joy. Business is about people. And therefore, before you leave here today, make sure you have added to the circle of people that you know, because they are your business. This morning, unknown to you, part of the work that you have seen us execute with NGCDF, immediately we were elected. Within the first month, I was a student for a weekend in Kiharu constituency, courtesy of Honorable Didi Nyoro. And for me in parliament, we are not just waheshimiwa. I call him my senior and my mentor. And I've challenged him today. He has to come back, worship with us one of the Sundays, and then I'll take him around some of the projects we have implemented. Ndio aone kama nitalipa fees ama nikupotea ilipotea. So with that, I want to welcome you. Feel very welcome. And once again, as usual, thank you for the opportunity you gave me to serve. I continue to serve with commitment, with honesty, and I serve diligently. Kiura, I don't want to risk missing lunch because you invited us for breakfast. As usual, I am accompanied by Mrs. Wairimo Maina. Thank you very much. And let us interact. Make sure your network grows. Make sure we have time to engage, interact, and exchange ideas. And most importantly, let us make each other's business grow. Kiora, unknown to you, I never used to be Wabogo's client. But now, Wanjohi's client. But now every time, after I come and serve in the constituency and I'm headed back to Nairobi, he knows I'm now his client, courtesy of meeting here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. We highly appreciate you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time that I need us to give a standing ovation as we welcome Mheshimiwa Ndindi Nyoro, who is our chief guest, to move his address.
Thank you very much. Tunaweza keti tafadhali. Our senior pastor, Reverend Kimathi, and all the other clergy who are here this morning for CBF. Our main guest, Dr. Wale, my brother, our MP for Nyeri Town, Mheshimiwa DMM, and of course Mrs. Maina, the organizers of this very well-organized event, led by my brother Ken Kiora, and all the other organizers who some I have met, actually in my office earlier, and all the participants of this forum, this breakfast, and this two-day conference. Good morning. Habari yenu? Muriyega? Asante sana. I am very pleased to come here this morning, and especially as a businessman, more than a politician. Because we are here to share about business, entrepreneurship, creating value. I am sure there are other forums for the other hat that I wear in terms of politics. And I am at home completely because I keep saying that anytime I am reading or interacting in any issue around investments, about business, about entrepreneurship, I feel like I am in holiday. So this morning I have come for holiday here in Nyeri. Because talking about money is not something very bad. It is something good. And I want to laud the church, Citam, for giving us this opportunity as business people, because it is one of the avenues God can bless many of us as Christians. And you know, many of us from Mashinani who were brought up in the village, in a Spartan life, conservative life, I'm an Anglican. To some extent, we may think that talking about money is going off. But I'm glad that every now and then we keep being reminded that even when you read about the Old Testament, God could bless his people even with great wealth, and it is recorded. And therefore, business is one of the ways that God can choose to bless us, and that is our domain this morning. But you allow me, because I am also a representative of the people of Kiharu and Kenya in terms of Parliament, National Assembly, I can hear there are some people from Kiharu here. Asante sana. It is important, I mentioned just in 2 minutes because it is important. In Kiharu, I am glad to be an MP there, and I'm sure, and I'm glad even Honorable DMM has been there. Kiora has been there. And I talk about this because when any part of Kenya develops, then Kenya is developing. When any part of Kenya decelerates, then also Kenya is going backwards. So in Kiharu, through NGCDF of Kiharu, it's a very large constituency. Actually, in terms of landmass, it could be only second from Kieni. We have around 112 public primary schools. 112 public primary schools. And I want to assure you, some of you who follow us on social media, the way they are, all our public primary schools, they are well done, well built, where we needed to build new structures. Where they are old structures, all our classrooms are tiled as a representation of all the other work done. When I say tiling, it's representing all the other overhaul of the work. Also, we have started like 7 new day schools from scratch. But lastly, the program that I'm very proud about is a program we run touching learners in day secondary schools, which we have around 65, including the ones we've started. And we have around 12,500 learners in those day schools in Kiharu. In Kiharu, what we've done is to do what is called backward aggregation. So we have consolidated the amount of budgets our day schools run, and then we try to work out a modality of lessening the burden for learners. So this is the outcome. The outcome is that of all the learners in our day secondary schools in Kiharu, we subsidize the education through CDF and other mechanisms, and learners in Kiharu only pay 1,000 shillings per term in any day secondary school. And where there is remedial teaching, because we would also encourage that, we don't actually permit in excess of 1,000 in the schools where there is remedial. And in that 1,000, learners eat in school from Monday up to Saturday. And they don't eat Githeri every day. We alternate some rice, some this, some that, some that. And in the last Friday of the month in Kiharu, all day schools, the last Friday of the month, they actually eat chapati for lunch. Including last Friday, which was the last Friday of the month. We do this because we know the primacy of education in shaping society from the household level going upwards. We have also invested over 20 million shillings in buying of revision books for those day schools. We are building laboratories. We are building halls in terms of deepening knowledge and education. I have mentioned that because it is important. It is important because this year alone, because we have 2 sub-counties in Kiharu, it's large. We have over 2,000 students who have come from other areas in Kenya to live with their relatives so that they school in our day schools. And I'm very proud about that. Because we don't ask for ID ya mzazi. Ati tuonyeshe mzazi ni wa hapa, anapiga kura hapa. Once you join our day secondary school, what you are looking for is knowledge. You'll become a voter later. Our business now is education, not about where the parent votes. Let me come back now to the meeting. I'll try to compress so that I actually take less time than I was allocated, so that we can have a time where we can interact with all, even the chief guest. We are here as business people. We are here as entrepreneurs. We are here as investors. But sometimes do you quip to ask yourself what is the difference? What are you? Because there must be a reason why in the dictionary there is a different word for being a businessman, for being an entrepreneur, for being an investor. Because if it meant the same, then it will be one word or one definition. So this morning, we need to trace ourselves so that we find whether we are in the right locus. But then, we know that Nyeri is a politician. Why was he invited? In brief, I actually started business earlier than politics. Because in class 6, I had my first kiosk, class 6. And I'm not telling you those stories of I started a big farm with an apple or no. That's not what I'm doing. Out of necessity, from a mud house, from a father who was living in Kiadutu slums in Thika, and a peasant farmer mother, and in a family where the only person who had a car was my uncle, maternal actually. After studying my uncle's life, I actually saw that he never progressed with education so much. So I thought I can take a shortcut like my uncle. Hakuna haja ya kujichosha na masomo. He was driving a KUI. He had never been to high school. So I started my first kiosk. And I could go buy some shopping. Hapo nyumbani kwetu kwa fence, nikakata nikaeka ka kiosk, asanti. But of course in class 6, when you have 200 bob in your pocket, there is nothing a mathematics teacher can tell you. So because I could not listen very keenly, my education ikaanza kwenda chini, ama grades. And my godmother, mwenye alinisimamia nikipatizwa, was my teacher and my village mate called Mrs. Karanja. So at the time wakati my father came from Kiadutu, he used to come over weekends. Kamwambia, your son is good, lakini masomo inaleta shida kwa sababu ya duka. So my father forced me to liquidate, but he was kind enough to actually pay me for the entire stock, which was just around 600 shillings. Then I progressed, nikamaliza hapo. Nikaenda Kiabugi Secondary School. It's just neighboring our place. And I'm saying this because it was more out of necessity. From my first year, hapo, Form 1, nikaanza kuwa cobra wa kushona viatu. And those who are there can attest. These are not stories where we only give as politicians. This is real stories. So I started mending shoes, progressed later into running school kiosk. School kiosk was being run by clubs, drama club, science club, officials. So I made sure I vied to be an official in almost all the clubs, so that I ran the canteen uninterrupted, so that we could buy some bread for the club, and of course some for ourselves to get the profit, and then to make the ends meet. Later on in my third year, my Form 3, Form 4, my elder sister had a mutumba in Thika. Maybe that's where I got the courage ya kuongea mbele ya watu sana. Because in my over holiday I used to go to Thika, pahali inaitwa Mukereti, wenye mnajua Thika. Saa hii kumejengwa manyumba mrefu, but before it was a market. So I used to sell mutuba there. Kumi ni baobao, bei ni ya kufunga. Nguo za watoto especially I used to sell. University, when I was joining KU, I had 2 goals. One was to deepen my leadership, but number 2 is to expand in terms of business. So when I joined KU, my first year, first help, I paid for my school fees for the whole year for KU. But the second semester help in the same first year, number 1, started a kiosk. Those who are from KU, you know KM. I started a hotel there, and I called it Vatican Cave. And I remember one time, it was Valentine's Day, we had gone to buy sufurias with the person I had borrowed some money ya kuanza hiyo kahoteli. That guy is called Wamwere, now he's in the UK. And we had gone to buy sufurias in Gekoba for that hotel of mine. Then Wamwere told me I have a girlfriend. Alikuwa nauza phone accessories along Rudhuri Avenue. Since gari za KU ziko tu hapo karibu, matatu, tukaenda tukisalimia girlfriend ya Wamwere. When we reached there carrying sufurias, the lady was looking at us like she does not even know us. Later on, Wamwere was dumped. This was the main reason. Kwa council ya wazee, this was the main reason. Number one, we didn't know it was Valentine's Day. So, he ought to have gone to see the girlfriend in a different manner. But number two, Wamwere had already told the girlfriend that he's doing a degree KU ya teaching na some economics uko katikati. So the lady was wondering, hii ni B.Ed gani na economics gani watu wananunua sufuria? Kwani ni home science? So of course we started that business na tukafanya hapo. The classmates used to come eat. After eating they tell me tuonane class. And they know I used to skip a lot of classes because of that hotel. So out of my classmates who are here, I'll tell the chief if he's around, you made my hotel collapse. Then the same year, because I was determined, nikitoka mashinani, mi naenda, first of all to polish my leadership, but also to look for money. Yo ikaanguka hoteli. The same semester, I decided to vie as a student leader in my first year, as congress person in the School of Humanities in KU then. So I vied, lost by 4 votes. Then, I was wondering, I think nitaacha hii kiberebere. Because hoteli imeanguka, ndio hii politics ya hapo shule ni kama nimeanguka pia. There is something that happened in my second semester in KU. My sister, anaitwa Esther, came to visit. I think she was the first person relative to visit me in campus. You know, sisi watu wa hiyo age, kitoka mashinani now you become a breadwinner. Sio kupiga simu utumiwe pesa, ni wewe utume help. So my sister came to visit, elder sister. I was so broke. I had started a hotel through my help and some borrowing from Wamwele, it had collapsed. I had vowed to be a student leader, I hadn't made it. We were so broke, tukienda kumaliza semester, we could barely afford a meal. So with my friend Jemo, who was either my roommate or next, hapo tu karibu, he was one of my best friends. So my sister came to visit, brought us meat, nyama, and we were so broke. Then we decided with Jemo, tukifanya hesabu ya kwenye semester imebakia, kula nyama inatuumiza. So we decided to sell the meat. So that we can push some days kukura ugali na madodo. So that first semester, long vacation. Hapa unamaliza mwaka uende second year. Of course me I had decided sirudi mashinani. So my uncle akanipea kanyumba hapo Lang'ata. I used to go mguu mpaka town. Nikapata some internship in the Ministry of Trade. But then when I was loitering around, I decided my former MP called Genye Kariuki niende nikamtoanisha kitu. So I was, wakati hiyo comrade, saa hiyo nimematch kiatu ya black, of course iko na vubi, na trouser ya black, na shati ya black. Sasa unajiona umematch ile mbaya. Na nimebeba bahasha. As usual, sijui kwa nini, when you are a student in campus or after you finish, you always carry a CV as a default setting. So I was carrying a brown envelope, was going to my former MP's office, but I was going there, kumuonyesha, he can rely on me in terms of kura za my youths, so that anipatie kitu, inipatie fare ya kukaa Nairobi. So nikapata a meeting, I was told you can leave your CV. But I was not going there to look for a job. I was going there to look for money, cheap money. Then later on, he called me within that week. And I went to his office. And akaniuliza, kijana ulikuwa unatafuta kazi? Kamwambia, yes sir. When do you want to start? Today sir. Nikaanza kazi hapo ya stockbroking. The reason I've given all that background is because I do stockbroking up to today. And that is the basis where I learned investments. Raw investments, especially in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. So whatever you read about Kenya Power, that is the genesis of me buying shares. I'm sure some of you have read something about it. In terms of investing in Kenya Power, investing in the Nairobi Securities Exchange, that is my genesis. Later on, of course, started an IT company. We now, as politicians, we may not go into details. But I do business in IT, in financial services, majorly. IT and financial services. I think was I back up. So business, you are a businessman. What's the distinction between a businessman and an entrepreneur? A businessman seeks to expand the business they are doing. My brother here is in oil industry. As a businessman, you are looking at how many gas stations or fuel stations we will have. An entrepreneur becomes more innovative and branches further from just deepening the business they are doing in terms of extracting more from it into being creative and innovative to venture into other sectors. So you could actually pass and say, a businessman seeks to expand whatever they know. An entrepreneur now goes further, even beyond what they know. Na mimi nikiangalia hapa naona nyinyi ni watu werevu. So sitafafanua vitu sana. Nikipitia hivyo najua mnashika maneno. An investor is what I'll talk about later because it's an area that I really enjoy. But the difference between this business person and an entrepreneur and this investor, what's the difference? In most cases, an investor will do, or the money for the investor will fetch them money passively. Is where you don't wake up in the morning to go check how your shop is doing. That's somebody else's business. You put in your money there, it's doing something for you. That is the bare, using superlatives, that is the top line definition. I want to talk about just a few basics because I've started many businesses also. Just some basics we may note here, and especially those who said they are huge business people. I saw your ads. You said you are doing very well in business, but for now, it is in the mind. Just for now, it is in the mind. One of the basic, I have seen it is important. As you start a business, you don't start a business because the other person started. You start a business because there is a gap. Gap may be in terms of demand. Gap may be in terms of geography. It could be the same product, it is somewhere else, but it's not yet in a geographical area that you are seeking to establish. That could also be a gap. Value creation. You can make money faster through creating value than through extraction. Many times you want to do business to extract money from people's pockets. And that is why you realize, and especially in a church setup, when you do business, you want people to sympathize with you because you go to the same church to buy you a product for that reason. That is not a reason enough. Just because I know you and you are my relative, you ought to create value. It is me who should be looking for your product. You shouldn't overconvince me simply by appealing to the soft side of how we know each other. That means there are some victims here. The other thing, bookkeeping. These things, they sound very banal. They sound easy. Bookkeeping. There is a story I keep giving all the time, and I'll give it. There is a time, me and my siblings, tukaenda nyumbani. Of course, we have a cow, like all of you in Mashinani. Or we had. So my mother anatembea Nairobi, siwezi lala hapa, nani atakamua ng'ombe? All the time, anaumwa na mgongo. Nini? Ng'ombe. So siku moja tukaenda, kamwambia madheka hapa chini. Kuja na kalamu. Hebu tuone hii ukulima yako inakufikisha wapi? Unapeleka kwa dairy how many liters? These liters. Okay. Ukiendea, unapeleka dairy, then unaendea chakula ya ng'ombe kwa dairy. Hata hiyo arrangement iko hapa Nyeri. So you are given the net after wametoa chakula. Hiyo net unalipa mfanyikazi mwenye alikusaidia siku 2-3. Na unalipa pahali umekoboa you have leased some land for napier grass. After we did the math, we realized, I'm using that as a businessman. This is a businessman, a farmer, you can say now, in agro processing or something like that, to sound sophisticated. Now, after kufanya hesabu, we realized the M-Pesa we sent home to the mother, to my mother, we don't send her money. We said what? We said the cow. Only that we use her phone. Because after doing that math, it taught me one thing that we all do, especially owners of small businesses. We never track our progress. So we never know whether we are mark timing or we are making progress. And the best way to do that is to use data. Data could be in terms of number of customers served, in terms of bottom line. Me, I like looking at bottom line. After all is said and done, it is not if you are a person doing oil, your business is not to fuel other people's cars. Your business is to make money. In economics class, we say, it is not out of the benevolence of the baker that we enjoy our daily bread. It is out of their selfish interest to make money that we get Ken Blessed coming to our local shopping center every day. And in the economic interaction, selfishness is what buys the economy. You buy a matatu there seeking to make money, and me, I open a hardware seeking to make money. That interaction of the market is what creates the economy. So as you start your small business early enough, track progress so that you actually know whether you are overstaying in a redundant area for too long. Market. Many times we are limited by what we know in the mind hapa. But do you know now with internet, there is a lot you can do. When you look at market, whatever product you come up with, and please, especially those whose businesses are in the mind, polish your ideas slightly further. Don't just do a business. Kuna business tu yani unafanya unaona. You need to think deeper. Especially those who have not yet risked or staked their money. Use more time to think than start. So that you first of all think about the market. The market may not be limited to where you already know and can see with your eyes. Study. I'm not saying you hire professionals to do that. Do basic, even with the internet. Those who are already doing business and you have some capital, focus on there is something I keep thinking about, and I also do. Look for businesses whose barrier of entry is high, almost blocked. The highest margins are in businesses that have got high barrier of entry. Barrier of entry may be in terms of knowledge. Barrier of entry may be in terms of capital. For example, if you had 2 billion shillings in Kenya now today, and you are talking about building a real estate in terms of flats, me, I wouldn't, because everyone can do that. For example, if you look at banking in Kenya, yes, the core capital was increased. It has been 1 billion shillings. But do you know there are so many Kenyans with that kind of money? That is already a niche where the barrier of entry is too high. So even if there are like 40 banks, they operate like oligopolies. And that is why you realize in Kenya, unless it is totally run down, few banks make losses. I'm just making that as a CASA. Look for a business with a higher barrier of entry so that you can enjoy longer margins or bigger margins. This is the other thing I want us to really interrogate. In my village, just like yours, my former teacher retires. The first thing they do is to buy a matatu. Or, hapo kwa shopping center yetu, anajenga hapo. Pesa ya retire. Karibu wote. What am I trying to say? Those businesses are good. They are good because they facilitate movement and they facilitate trading. But probably even my brother and sister in the same industry, there is much more they can do around there. What am I trying to say? Kenya is also a plot country. Yani kama huna we measure your success by how many plots you have. Maybe we'll talk about that later. Nikienda kumaliza. By the way, I'm almost finishing. Now, allow me now these minutes because I can see here, next time, this one here, this is the lead sponsor. We would want in the next few years to come, the owner of this lead sponsor will be from this hall. And therefore, allow me the remaining minutes, even if you do not understand what I'm saying, and I only talk to 2 people who will do that, I'll be satisfied. So if you do not understand the things I'll be saying, uniwie radhi. Because I would rather talk to 1 table who may actualize, become this, than talk to all of you and start small dots of businesses. And because we have brain and capacity to all be here, let in the next few years, there'll actually be an auction in this hall, all of us bidding to be this. I'm talking about how we must fashion ourselves in this hall to move from being net worth of 500,000, net worth of a millionaire, and because all wealth is granted by God, that we also break that ceiling. Those figures we hear of billionaires, we also aim. And number 1, moving from that comfort, I'm trying that we move from that comfort of being a dealer for Oilibia or for Total, to being the Total yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. From being a dealer of Safaricom to being a competitor. That's the kind of thing I'm trying to talk about. Mumeanza kuenda chini mnauliza sasa huyu mtu ni vitu gani hizo? When you want to move to that level, you do not own 100% of your business. There is no billionaire in the entire world who owns 100% of the business they are associated with. None. Mark Zuckerberg, in terms of Facebook, in fact, let me just to be precise, Jeff Bezos owns 12.7% of Amazon. Elon Musk owns 13% of Tesla. Bernard Arnault, the one for Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, is is the richest man in France, actually. He owns 46% of LVMH. Warren Buffett, the renowned investor of Berkshire Hathaway, owns only 16% of Berkshire Hathaway. Larry Ellison, the one for Oracle, owns 35% of Oracle. Bill Gates, I talk to you now, all of you know Microsoft is owned by Bill Gates. He owns less than 1% of Microsoft. Coming to Kenya, when you ask somebody who owns Cooperative Bank, they tell you Muriuki, the CEO. He is actually from here, Nyeri. He owns less than 5% of Cooperative Bank. But what is 5% of Cooperative Bank? A bank with a market cap of around 20 billion Kenya shillings. 5% means he is going to over 6 billion Kenya shillings. 5%. Now, you with your 100% of your business, how much is it worth? There is a friend of mine who is also my mentor. Can you tell me by a show of hand who owns Equity Bank? By a raise of hand, tafadhali. I'll pay something for that. Naona Wakikuyu ni wengi hapa mkono. Who owns Equity Bank? Monga. Very good. He is also a good friend of mine. So hata nikimkute hapa, he will not be offended. Somebody else who owns Equity Bank? Yes? Mwangi. Can you start? Sitakuita hapa. Najua public speaking, you can't ambush somebody. Who owns Equity Bank? Please rise up, my sister. Who owns Equity Bank? Monga. You said Peter Monga. Now listen, my brothers and sisters. Mwangi, the CEO of Equity Bank, owns 5% of Equity Bank. And all of you told me he is actually the owner of Equity Bank. If you look at the financial statements of Equity Bank, you realize the top shareholders of Equity Bank are not Kenyan. They are FADs, including Norwegian FAD. Do you know Peter Monga now owns less than 1% of Equity Bank? Now, keep your 100% of your business. In business, and niliacha kuongea sasa mtu wa kuanza kiosk. Tumesema Mungu anatubariki to start chains. Is that so? Don't seek to own a fish pond. Seek to own just a slice of the ocean resources. Because a fish pond utaweka net, utasweep all your resources in there, and you have to give it months. Dive into the ocean. You are just given a slice, but that slice is worth much more than having many fish pots. And how do you do that? You have a business here. Mambo yote hata nimesema ya bookkeeping is combined. You have a business. You've started, let's say, of making yogurt, making organic soap, of making whatever you may think about. Now you are already progressing. There is so much market, but you can't satisfy. Now, out of your bookkeeping, you realize your business is now worth 10 million shillings. But do you know what? You are already feeling very wealthy. And you cannot release. Hii kitu nimeanza na jasho sana. Mimi siwezi leta mtu wa kunisubua. A different person, what do they do? You look for an investor and bring you 5 million shillings into that business. It's not going to your pocket. But you give them 10% of that business. Now, if you receive 5 million shillings for 10% of that business, the valuation of that business becomes instantly 50 million shillings. You use this money to expand other markets, to expand your operations, to buy more machinery. Later on, you get another investor. Now you've already grown, even people are noticing your brand. They come in, they give you 20 million shillings, and you give them a 20% of your business. If a 20% of your business is valued at 20 million, instantly your business becomes 100 million. So even if the percentage continues to diminish, the aggregate continues to expand. Now, umepata kazi juzi, bank. You are now doing business very well as a contractor or anything else. Your first money, what do? Buy a plot. Then after buying a plot, build flats. Guys, my brothers and sisters, big companies like the one I quoted, including Equity Bank, including their own headquarters, is leased. They don't own. So you want to tell me, in your mind you have more CFAs, you have more actuaries, you have more financial advisors than Equity Bank? Old Mutual that bought even UAP here in Kenya. Old Mutual, you know it, is bigger in South Africa. Old Mutual, I saw in the Business Daily this week, they have put up for sale all their real estate assets in the entire East Africa. Wanasema, please come and buy. Hatutaki. Do you know, including that landmark tall building in Nairobi? Ile Christmas wanawekaga vitu hivi, mataa mingi tunaona huko. Hata hiyo wanauza. You can go buy. Maybe it's around 5 billion. Now, this is the company that is already divesting from real estate. And I am saying that with all due respect with my brothers who are in that business. I'm now talking to the buyer, not the seller. Other than the house that you live in, and other than the farm that you need, what is this plot you have in Kitegera, and the other one in Kamuru, and the other one in Kiganjo, and the other one in Narumoro? Ni ya nini, ni ya kufanya nini? I am not saying that I am an oracle, but I just want to tell you, mimi sina pahali nachukuaga rent. Because you realize this business of building things, building, you are actually doing it for the satisfaction of the people who live in, not for you to make money. Because the return on investment on a flat, the return on investment is less than 8%. People will keep saying, oh, 12 or 15%, toa yote, and you give it time. It will oscillate and still settle down below 8%. That is the math even Equity Bank does. Badala ya kuown building, ati tunasema Equity HQ at all building or the 5 billion, mwaki anaorder, 5 billion ata nikired micro loans. They'll give me an ROE of double digit, maybe 15%. Why can't I lend you the 5 billion mukiwa wegi? By end of the year, munilipe interest, let's say 18% of 5 billion is how much? 900 million. Why can't I give you, munilipe 900 million per year, then nilipe rent 400 million, then 500 million in faida? Let me ask you, when you build a house anywhere, including anywhere in Nyeri, your utility as an investor of that house is only the money you get, because you have no utility of living there. So your math must be very direct. Musianza hizo vitu kuwa sensational, owning a flat, nini. Let's be practical. You have 8 flats, manyumba mrefu hivi. Do you live there? So why did you build? To make money, is it? Is that the most optimal manner of putting your money? That should be your only consideration. Now, usileta emotions. Because if you live there, you can justify and say a utility of a house where you live cannot be justified by how much you are getting. You don't live there. You've not been there for 6 months. Your caretaker lives there more times than you. Then, watu hawapumui, kuna furaha tunajenga ingine, and munaonaga all my friends who build, they are always on phone. Mwaga mchanga, kakoto, there is always a story hapo. Mahiga macio ni mwaiga kithimaithi Even if you want to own that flat, why can't you invest where you are getting double digit? After getting that double digit, wait for your brother angangane na simiti kuibiwa, angangane na nini. Wewe ukipata ROE yako ya 18%, after 5 years, through the faida peke yake, uende ununue akuwe amechoka on your behalf. Fanya hesabu, my friend. The other thing is that you do not need to use your money all the time. I do a lot of mentorship for university students in my office. And when they come, everyone, when they want to start a business, it is ni kama kamanyu kanapeanwa pahali. Sasa nikimaliza kuongelesha hivi na venye nimejikakamua leo, hata siongei siasa ati ni juu ya biashara. Then nikitoka hapo unajua utaniuliza aje, okay, umeongea vizuri, where do you get capital? That is the question that is almost resonates every time. Nitatoa wapi capital? Na mimi wacha nikuulize, capital ya kufanya nini? Because that is what you need to answer. All that, when you get somebody asking you, nitatoa wapi capital, hana idea. Because if you have a very well polished idea of a business, believe you me, you will attract money. And money is not just borrowing. There are many models of financing a business. And they are in Kenya also, not just in the US. Facebook never became Facebook because it was Facebook. Facebook became Facebook because people like Peter Thiel is a venture capital, invested money in Facebook back then. By the way, mathematics. Peter Thiel invested in Facebook $500,000 and got 2%. That's a niede pole pole. Mupate what I'm trying to say. And the other point I talked about 100% of the business. Peter Thiel, there's something called venture capital. And there is something called private equity. There is something called angel investors. What do these people do? They come, uko na idea poa, which can be commercialized. They give you money to start, but other than being alone, you seed a stake in your company. You seed a stake. Stake means a shareholding. So you seed. Once you seed, so biashara ikianguka, you don't owe that guy anything. But if the business does well, they are part of that business. So Peter Thiel invested $500,000, got 2%. Just a few years later, Facebook got listed. After listing of Facebook, he sold 2/3 of the 2%. What an yoge pole pole hapo. This is a point I want you to understand. He had 2%. He had bought all of it, like to the pesa ya Kenya. 500,000. Hata tuseme ni ya Kenya. 500,000. A few years later, Facebook got listed. He sold 2/3 of the 2%. At how much? $625 million. Now, what am I trying to say? If the Facebook founders never needed the money for Peter Thiel, Facebook would still be your 100% owned company now. It will not be the global company we know. The intersection of the idea and money is what creates a business. An idea with no money to start it is still a dream. The intersection must appear of this idea and money. And you haven't even tried. You are just saying, wanatuongelesha maneno ya biashara, tutoe capital wapi? You have not even asked anyone to give you capital. How do you know people are not willing to give you money and you have not asked anyone? And then mtu anauliza hapa, who are those venture capital? And those who are those PE? This is my answer. That is precisely also an opportunity for you. The fact that you don't know any venture capital or private equity in Nairobi or Nyeri is already an opportunity for you to be one. Why? Because here there are people, by look of the introductions that we got here, there are people who have 10 million lying in the bank. There is already a person here with 10 plots. That plot, what is it for? That money can work for you faster elsewhere. Start a venture capital. If you don't know one, you don't ask me. Nitawatoa wapi? It has already an opportunity for you. But they are there. I mean, you can use the internet. Now, this is something else I know about money and investments. And I think I had made some notes, and Asana sped to refer, but I didn't want to, I wanted to mention a few things precisely. In everything, let me paraphrase. Everything is buy low, sell high. Everything. Buy low, sell high. When you're talking about commodities, even manufacturing, there is one sentence I'm looking for. Now, you make profit. Just listen to this. You make profit at the point of purchase, not the point of sale. You do not make profit at the point of sale. Profit is made from the point of purchase. That sounds like investments, but it's also business. When you are a media house, what do you sell to us, especially at TV? You are selling something called eyeballs. People watching you. That is your product. So how can you buy cheap eyeballs and then you sell expensively in terms of your adverts, pricing? In business also, business that has inputs and outputs, you do not make money when you are selling the product. You make money when you are buying the inputs. When you squeeze to the lowest point possible, the buys, at that point you've already made your profit. But then all of us here focus, pesa unatengeneza ukimaliza kujenga hiyo kitu unajenga. No, money is made at the point of purchase, not at the point of sale. For you as a businessman, I mean. Then, I hope by now we already know, kuweka pesa kwa bank, hizo vitu zote, they are not for people in this hall. By now we already know that. Kiora, if I found you with 5 million shillings in your bank account, I'll tell your wife. For them to realize, you are not as they think. I think by now you already know. When you have money, you just want to see, many times even me, when you make your first, let me not mention things, money a lot, but when you make your first that one, unataka bank, unaitisha statement. Ndio uone hapo chini imeandikwa nini, na pia kashia unamwambia hebu nisomea vizuri hapo chini. So I said narukaruka tu, nyinyi ni watu werevu mnashika maneno. All the people I know, by the way, including myself somehow, a lot of money is made during crisis. Warren Buffett, the one for Berkshire Hathaway, ni mzee, me, I'm thinking as a businessman, you already know Warren Buffett. If you don't, itagogo baadaye. Warren Buffett has again anakaanga na cash money, not for the reason that I gave for Kiora, but for this other point. Just waiting for the right time. Just waiting for the right time. So anakaanga na pesa. Like now if you Google, Berkshire Hathaway holdings in cash, crazy amounts of money. Crazy. In hundreds of billions of dollars. What does he do? He has studied the markets. He has studied the economies very well. Like in the year 2002-08 financial crisis, his work was to deploy cash. Why are you deploying cash? There was a crisis, financial crisis in the entire world. So what was happening? Companies were collapsing. So Warren Buffett, he was happy. Companies were begging him to buy them at any price. So he bought up a company like Bank of America. They merged with another one which was called Merrill Lynch, became BOA Merrill Lynch, bought them for nothing. Another one. So, and he keeps saying, and this is a point you need also when you are investing, when everyone is very greedy, be fearful. And when everyone is very fearful, be greedy. Because we operate in herd mentality as human beings. For example, now, I'll mention something about the NSC, Nairobi Securities Exchange. There was a time I was buying some shares there. Guys were wondering, even my friends, I could tell them, buy. Nunua hii share. Wanashindwa hii mtu. By then, stock market was dampened. Not just in Kenya, globally. By that time, even last year, the entire globe was a rate market. People were chasing after the highest rates, fixed income. So, very few people were paying attention to equities. Equities are shares. I'm just trying to say, when others are fearful, be greedy. When you see everyone is buying a treasury board, fixed income assets, because they are giving very high rates, economies are cyclical all the time. You wait where you need to wait. Wait by buying what they are not buying. And then when the reverse also happens. What am I also trying to say there? You think honestly, because you are saying we are moving from M to B. M meaning? And B? Yeah. If you start kuongea such things, they may appear differently as a politician talking about that. Now, you want to tell me you want to move from M to B, and you can't do basic analysis about your own money. Study markets, study economies. Do you know the time you invest in your day-to-day business? You know, running a business is very tedious. Tedious. You think about, I'm referring to my brother a lot because I was told what he does. Mafuta, ukienda short ya 3 bob ni hasara because that's all your profit. Every time you are laboring your mind to the extreme. You also need to invest some time learning, studying threads about the economies, how do economies operate for the last 20 years, so that you have a view of how is it likely to operate for the next few years. And you can do that. You don't need professionals to do all those things. You study Kenyan market, you study South African market, you study American market. You can always predict the next time you're having a financial crisis. Even if you are not very precise, you'll not be very far away. And those are opportunities to make money. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not for exam, it's for making money. When you have, now I'm talking about business people and entrepreneurs. As you continue growing, of course you must learn to use professionals. Umeanza biashara, uwezi ajiri hata accountant. HR kuajiri, HR is your wife and you are the CEO. There is always a premium they bring, and especially structuring your business to be a corporate. Stop running a business. Start running a corporation. A corporation where, even if I needed to invest in your business, there is something I can fall back to as data. But you also need to be very obsessed with success. If those of you who like reading, I would challenge you, look for the autobiography of Elon Musk. The one written by Isaacson. I think he's called Isaacson. Those who can read. And you realize, my friends, those people, like now he's worth for over 400 billion US dollars. 400 billion US dollars. US dollars. US dollars, 400 over. US. When you read that book, then you start realizing, hakuna vitu ati utaokota tu kwa jia. You have to have an obsession to succeed. Not just at a feeling. Some obsession so that unashikilia, and especially when you had already done your basic analysis and you know what you are doing is right, you have to have some obsession. And I've seen it across people. You read about the founders of Apple, Elon Musk, all those guys I'm mentioning, you realize you need to be obsessed to succeed. Decision making. There is something I want you to always have in mind. And especially I have seen it rife in investments. I've been in stockbroking since, for example, my first year in KU. So I've seen cycles of downs and ups. And I have seen in life, just as in business, just as in entrepreneurship, here you are all employers. Me, I'm not talking to you as employees anymore. Because you already decided, those who are in jobs, you are resigning soon. I think we agreed that a long time ago. Otherwise, you're in the wrong forum. You need to make, maybe a decade is 10 years. You need to make like only 4 strategic decisions in those 10 years, instead of tiring yourself on a day-to-day decision making. When you are making a strategic decision, never afford to make a stupid decision. Use a lot of data. Use a lot of analysis. You don't need to do that every day. For example, in 10 years, you make 4 strategic decisions, you are good to go. But we tie ourselves and our mind making micro decisions that we have no time to think about making strategic big decisions. And those big decisions are what matters. Investors like the ones I mentioned, including Kenya, the decision, for example, Equity did in 2007. A company called the Heliois Capital came, a private equity fund. They got 24.5% of Equity Bank. That strategic decision they made was more important than how the branch operates every day. Strategic decisions. A strategic decision of KCB Bank to go to DRC and buy a bank there instead of starting one from scratch. That needed a lot of decision making that is weighty, deep. That strategic decision making is more important than day-to-day running of KCB Bank. The strategic decision, let's say, of Brookside selling a stake to Danone, a French company, that decision making maybe is more important than the amount of milk they were processing every day, at that time. You need to make strategic decisions, but not in haste. Because once you make the right one correctly, then you can reap from it for a very long time. And of course, learn as much as possible. Very lastly, I was at some place two days ago, and I made a confession which I want to make also now. Despite all the things I have said here, I have already told you, as a businessman, I mean, let's not cheat ourselves that we are here to do this, to create value. You are here to make money. So I'm talking in that length. You know, when you're marketing a house, I want to make good living abodes for other people. You're there to make money, my friend. Out of that, me personally, I have made much more money passively than I have made money actively. And I'll give you one because it is public information which you have read. I see on Twitter, stima ikipotea munaanza maneno. Me, I have never even been to Kenya Power offices because I'm just a passive investor. Passive. I have never been there for the last I don't know how long. The last time I was there was in my capacity as an MP ya kufuata stima, in my first term. But this year, last year, this year of Kenya Power, you can go at your own time, was trading. Last year, a time like today, was below 2 shillings. 2 shillings. 2. Meaning, if you bought shares then, if you bought 1 million shares then, you would have spent how much? 2 million shillings. Yesterday, which was Friday, Kenya Power share, after dropping slightly, I know it still go somewhere up, was 13.5 shillings. 13 point? So how much is that? Your 2 million is how much? At the same, you are 2 million shares. We say, oh yes, you are right. Your 2 million is? No, it can't be 7. Fanya hesabu, 2 million shares would have bought you 1 million. 2 million shillings would have bought you 1 million shares. 13 and a half. You know najua nikisema hii, mnafikiria ni pahali it's real. Si vitu tunasomanga kama hizo nimewaambia za Warren Buffett. This is real. Nyeri shares 3 months ago. Let me even use December. Nyeri shares in December was 1.06. Yesterday, let me say the high. Average for last week. Not too much. 3.5 shillings. I want you to do the percentage. Kenyan shares, a year ago, a time like this, it was cheaper to buy one Kenyan share than it was to buy Peremende. It was maybe 3 point something shillings. As of yesterday, 9.7. It doesn't happen all the time. I'm not telling you at the Monday you go buy those shares. No. I am saying this. Some time back, I sat down, downloaded the financial accounts of Kenya Power, read, and I realized, ni mimi tunajua hii mambo ama ni nini. Because I saw a gold mine. I am going back to what I told you. You will never move from M to B at the evil. You have to also spend some time. I mean, if, for example, working for a whole year, for a whole month, in that institution, you earn 100,000 or 50,000 per month. If you earn 50,000 to work for a whole month, then it means to move from that M to B. It also calls you to also engage your mind into running and data analysis. It's not so complex anyway. So I started and I saw a company had over 150 billion in sales. That is revenue. Assets were like 320 billion that time. The valuation of that company was just 3 billion in the market. Then I decided I am not consulting anyone. I am buying vile tunasemanga hapa kwetu takeri. Yeah. Yani hutaki kufikiria mimi hapa nimeona iko kitu na sitaki kujua mimi nanunua. Last year I scrutinized Nyeri books. I realized the company is valued by that time, was valued by the market at 6 billion shillings. The entire company. Because when you're buying shares, I don't advocate for trading. I advocate for investing. Invest like you're investing in a company, not trading shares, no. So I see a company worth 6 billion, but they had declared profit that year of 5 billion, net profit. Can you just imagine? Ile story tulikuwa tunasema ya ploti. Ploti will take you 10 years to recover your money. That's what they say, 10 to 15. Now here there is a company which was worth 6 billion, but net profit for 1 year was 5 billion. Then I scrutinized further. I saw their cash and cash equivalent. These things are online. You can actually check. And that you don't need to be an accountant. I'm not one. I read and saw their cash and cash equivalent by then was 35 billion shillings. Do you know what that means? And then I read further, they have no loan. Hi. Then it meant to me, I can buy this company at 6 billion. If it becomes mine, the cash and cash equivalent alone, I get the 6 billion and pay the people who gave me. the whole money, the 30 billion remains free money. Anniversary Towers, which is owned by them, becomes my building. Maybe I'll have the top 3 floors as my office. Reinsurance Plaza becomes my building. And then I started, they are in 83 markets. I never needed anyone to tell me anything. I saw an opportunity there. So what am I trying to tell you? There are many opportunities you can make money passively. They don't happen all the time. That's why I talked about study how the markets move, how the economies move, so that you know when to jump. For example, in Kenya, we have had a bullish market. Shares in Aeda Jew. But they don't go up like this. They go EV. So it's your work now. Go check the companies of your interest. Study. You'll see a lot of opportunities. Let me use 2 brands you know. KCB Bank, for example. KCB Bank is valued by the market at around 170 billion shillings. The valuation of the entire KCB. Last year, they made a profit of 60 billion. So if you bought KCB, it's your bank, it will take you 2.5 years to recover all your money using on the net profits. Equity Bank, for example, also. Equity Bank is valued by the market at around 211 billion shillings. But their first half year up to 30th June, was 31 billion shillings. So they will likely make 62 billion 1 year profit. So it will take you, if you bought the entire company, less than 4 years. Proti Narumoro, Proti Kamuru, Proti wapi, hiyo Proti alafu unapigiwa simu, hemu doraita maiga haha. I mean, then you have a home in hapa Nyeri, another one in Nairobi. Now, because you have money, you also want a home in Mombasa to be sleeping there over Christmas. And then the entire year, you have a caretaker maintaining that plot for you. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Nimemaliza. Asante sana. You may sit. I know we are in a church forum, and therefore we can't talk politics. I just want to say one thing that is attached to the things I was saying, because I am an economist and I am grateful for that. There is one thing that is troubling my mind as a Kenyan on the economic front. And it's something, I am not saying it to accuse anyone. I'm saying it because it is important. If you read the central bank data, it shows that the Kenyan economy, we have now borrowed. Our national debt is now over 12.1 trillion Kenya shillings. For the last 3 years, our country has borrowed in excess of 3.5 trillion Kenya shillings. So I would want to request all of us as the leadership, and especially those who have the opportunity to make decisions in the executive. Let us serve our country with dedication. And let us not seek to give good narratives out there when the Kenyan economy is actually being teared down or torn down. We have borrowed over 3.5 trillion Kenya shillings in 3 years. President Kibaki borrowed 1.2 trillion in the entire 10 years he was president. And therefore we have borrowed 3 times in 3 years. We have borrowed 3 times what Kibaki borrowed in 10 years. That's the money Kenya has borrowed in the last 3 years alone. 3 times what Kibaki borrowed in 10 years. And in that money, I have not included other debts that Kenya has now become clever to borrow in the name of something called securitization. I've not mentioned even that. It therefore means the economy of Kenya is borrowing 100 billion every month. And every single day, when the lights go off, every day, every single day, Kenya is borrowing 3.4 billion every day. That we are borrowing in a minute. You can do the calculations and see. In an hour, maybe we are borrowing around 137 every 1 hour. I'm saying this because we are now headed to the elections. And what governments do, they focus more on re-election, and we forget that we have a country to lead after the elections. And what that means is that every time we are nearing elections, we start having something called fiscal expansion. Because maybe there is nothing much to be seen for the past year, then in basically 1 year, we want everything to be seen. And therefore, what do? We become reckless in borrowing. Kenya is there now. That now our debt is 12 trillion Kenya shillings. I want to request that we do not have to put our country in that kind of pedestal in terms of borrowing. Kenya has always had development for the many years, but we never had to borrow that much. President Kibaki did a lot of development. He borrowed only 1.2 trillion for 10 years. Where is the 1.2 trillion we are borrowing every year going? To make the matter worse, anything you see with your mouth, with your eyes, sorry for that. Maybe the mouth is what is also being used somewhere. So I shouldn't say sorry. Let me paraphrase that. Everything you see with your eyes happening in Kenya now, in terms of development, what you can see, for example, the expansion of this Keno-Marwa Road, is not even part of the 12 trillion borrowed. Is another loan on the side called fuel levy securitization. Everything else you see in Kenya in terms of development, like even the Talanta Stadium, is also not part of the 12 trillion debt. That is another debt, securitization of the sports fund, where we borrowed 46 billion and we'll be paying 100 billion in interest rate alone after 15 years. Even the expansion of Nairobi-Nakuru Road is also not part of the 12 trillion we have borrowed. That is NSSF money being used as a PPP to build that road. I request those who are in government, you have already borrowed 1.2 trillion every year. And even what we can see with our eyes is actually not part of that borrowing. Please, kueni na huruma ya nchi ya Kenya. Even as we preside over the affairs of our country, let us be, tujue kwa akili zetu ya kwamba, there is Kenya after elections. Let us not run our country in terms of overheating it. We must avoid to become like Sri Lanka. We must avoid to become like Ghana. We must avoid to become like Ethiopia. We must avoid to become like Zambia in the recent years. Because Kenya is a strong country with internal resources. This issue of profligate borrowing must come to an end if we really care about this country. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
Watu wa Maguta.
Thank you. Let's give another round of applause to our chief guests. Asante sana. I'll kindly request Bwana Mheshimiwa to come back. Did Nyoro come back on stage here? I would like to present you something. And you'll also let me put your heart to rest to tell you that I'm one of those people who stopped that oil business. I'm no longer peddling that one. I did my mathematics and it came not equal to. Nikaachana nayo. But thank you for your support, Mheshimiwa. Let me invite Carol to come and present, to come with a gift, and then I'll call on Reverend Jacob and Kiora. Please come.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa, even for staying completely away from politics. Now, that was... in Citam, we don't do politics in church. We allow people to form their opinions, and thank you for highly respecting that. Kumbe ulikuwa utufunze na ututukane. You know, sometimes when you are told the truth, it ouches you, and there is that ouching moment. Thank you so much. That was mind-opening, and that was great. They should have come up with a bigger word than great, but because they didn't, let me just say that was not great, it was greater than great. Thank you so much, even for choosing to share your wisdom with us. And I would want to welcome Reverend Dr. Kimathi to gift you a small gift. You know, in Africa we say, all gifts are small. That's a brown kiondo. It's not a brown envelope. And thank you so much for honoring our invitation. I am sure you will be back soon. Would you want us to invite him again? Thank you so much. And before you go, we have a very, very posh place to stay around here. And when Mheshimiwa takes you around Nyeri town constituency to kagua whether he was a good student or not, I am in my hands holding a gift voucher for a whole 2 nights at the Rhino Watch Lodge, which I want to hand over to you. Thank you so much. So, when the fumes of Nairobi become too intense, please feel free to come and get a seat from here. Thank you so much.
Our chief guest, Honorable Ndidi Nyoro, our guest speaker, Dr. Akinyemi Wade, the area MP, Duncan Madenge, and all protocol observed. I appreciate this moment. Good morning. I hope it's still morning. Good morning. What a wonderful time we've earned, and what a great time we've earned here. Honorable Ndidi Nyoro, we are so, so grateful. We always know you as a politician, but there is something else that I personally didn't know. You're such an astute economist. And if this is the way you speak, then allow me to invite you for Citam Business Forum Global next year. Please honor, if you can, honor our invitation. This is what we do at the local assemblies, but we do the same on a global scale. And this year, of all the churches outside Nairobi, you brought the biggest number of delegates. Thank you, Kula. Thank you, Kula, for leading such a team. This is becoming the epicenter of things. And thank you so much. And on behalf of my chair, I am the patron of CBF. We are grateful that you are doing so well here. You are almost overtaking us at the global level, which is fine. And once more, I came with Dan. Dan is the chair for Ngong, Citam Ngong, CBF. Thank you, Dan. I'm told here Nanyuki is represented, Citam Nanyuki. The team from Nanyuki, are they here? Is it Nanyuki or Hembu? That is, all right. Embu? Or maybe they must be on the way. Oh, they are there. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. And even Citam Adriba, where I am, is represented. I'm here. Citam Meru, where are you? Citam Meru also represented. Where are you? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It goes to tell you that we can do much more than praying in church. We can do more than, interceding. We can influence things at all levels. And when you began, Ndidi Nyoro, and you said how you give children opportunity, by feeding children, by paying 1,000 Kenya shillings, where others are just eating all that money, the bursary fund, but you are giving the children to be able to complete their education and get an opportunity in life. We salute you. And I know Honorable Madenge will do better now that you are the mentor. And I think all the MPs should come and learn from you. And thank you so much. I'm not going to talk much. We are about to have our our guest speaker now to come and share with us. We call him our big brother, Dr. Ware Akinyemi. Now, if you want Didi, wait now until you hear Ware Akinyemi. Put on your safety belt because you are just about to be blown out. Yeah. Let's put our hands together for Dr. Ware Akinyemi. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Asante.
Thank you so
My limitation is height. I'll be speaking like you.
Oh, boy. Thank you. Please let's sit down. Wow. Wow, what a day. I must say, I've been around for a while, and I think, that I've been around for a while. I served as a researcher many years ago at a place called the Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. That's where my journey started. That was many, many moons ago. That was in 1989. So I was a researcher at the Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, so I love data. And we moved into a whole lot of business and stuff like that. And I'm saying this to say, I came to Kenya 25th November 1994. And this gentleman and I have been friends since 95 or so, Mr. Korea and I have been friends since 1995. That's a long time, isn't it? My son, that was a year old when I came to Kenya, is married and with his own family. My last born, my daughter, she got married at So I've been around for a while. But sir, in all those years, I've not met a political mind that is also an economic mind like I have had today. I salute you. I salute you. If I could vote in Kenya, okay, let's stop. Because when the US government appointed me many years ago to be a special advisor to the chairman of IEBC, I find myself trending, saying, who's this bloody Nigerian who has come to steal Kenya's elections? But it's Paul the Apostle called it the price of the high calling. And anybody who doesn't want to be criticized should stay small. Thank you. Anybody who doesn't want to be criticized, just stay small. Do nothing. And everybody will leave you alone. So are we ready? All right. I'm going to be talking about, I have so much to unpack. Thank you. Yes, you can. Thank you so much. Are we ready? Years ago, and I'll tell you something even as I get going, I believe that the church is the future of this nation, of nations generally. And that's in line with prophecy also, isn't it? Many years ago, when President Goodluck Jonathan was in government, he came to Kenya for a state visit. And I happened to have been invited for some of those meetings. Now, the interesting thing about that was that I was invited by the Kenyan side. I'm more Kenyan, you understand what I'm saying? So I was invited by the Kenyan side, and so President Goodluck Jonathan looked at me, and because I was sitting on this side with my whole Nigerian thingy, and President Goodluck Jonathan from that day began to call me a fake Nigerian. He called me a very fake Nigerian, but I'm not a fake. But so 2 days ago, I was at Uhuru Park because there was a Kenya-Nigeria forum at Rema Feast. And I was asked to come and speak since I'm one of the longest Nigerians, probably the oldest Nigerian who has been here for so many years, over 30 years. So they asked me to come and speak. And for the first time, what I have seen attempts made at doing at the governmental level and all that, I saw, all those meetings, I've attended a lot of them, and, we just speak a lot of English, We speak a lot of grammar and all that. But for the first time, I began to see the possibilities, real businesses happening. I saw that 2 days ago. And so today, what I want to share with you is very, very simple, and the title is, Where Are You Not Looking? Where are you not looking? And I think it's good to start off by asking the person next to you, where are you not looking? Come on, let's do that. And why is this important? Why is this important? The human mind is programmed for the familiar, because the human mind is a pattern recognition machine. What do I mean by that? So when I say 2, 4, 6, so that is what the human mind understands. Now, if I say 2, 15, 30, 45, we get stuck, isn't it? The human mind gets stuck with things that are not familiar. All right? And that is where a lot of people are. That is why when you hear some of the things that you have heard this morning, the human mind does not know how to process it. It's the unfamiliar. Am I communicating? And this way a lot of people are. But let me tell you, your greatest breakthroughs are going to come from the unfamiliar. It's not coming from the familiar. All right? So where are you not looking? Let's use local examples. For many years, or whatever, back in the early 90s, you needed to be a very rich man to have a mobile phone. Yes or no? You needed to be a rich man, and then it was per minute billing. So if you spoke for 2 seconds, you are charged for 1 minute, isn't it? It was for the elite. Where were they not looking? So a man called Michael Joseph says, you know what? We can go with this same product into the slums. And the rest is history. Is somebody hearing me? Ask your neighbor, where are you not looking? Let's look at another example. Banks. Do you know the banks were so arrogant they used to tell some of us to come and close our accounts? Isn't it? Then a bank called Equity shows up and says, you know what? There is money with the unbanked. There is money with people we call unbankable. And guess what? The rest is history. There's something I have always written about and spoken about, and I call it Wallace's triangle. Okay? You may get upset. Why are you calling it your own triangle? It's my own. Now, Pythagoras called his own Pythagoras theorem. Newton called his own Newton's law of motion. So I have a right to also say Wallace's triangle. Now, so if you draw a triangle, and at the top of the triangle, you write the things that are obvious. Obvious? On one other tip, you write the things that are known. The things you already know. And then the things that you are comfortable with. So obvious, known, comfortable. You got your triangle? That right there is Wallace's triangle. Now, I hate to get you upset, but are you ready? Innovation never happens inside that triangle. Why do we have insurance penetration at the level that it is today and everybody is reading from the same script inside the triangle? Are you hearing me? Breakthroughs happen where? Outside. And this is global. Anywhere you look at. I mean, Bill Gates, everybody was looking at hardware. Where were they not looking? Software. And that's where the breakthrough happened. Let me tell you my story. I always wanted to be a consultant for the United Nations. It was a dream I had for many years. My background is in social statistics, so I always saw myself there. But it was not happening, no matter how hard I tried. Where was I not looking? You know, I was so focused on the UN. So one day, the story of Lazarus in the Bible, it jumped out at me. Lazarus was a beggar at the gate of a rich man, hoping the rich man will help him. The rich man did not help him. So what happened? After a while, Lazarus died, isn't it? What happened after? The rich man died. Why did the rich man die? His purpose was to look after Lazarus, and since Lazarus was dead, there is no need for the rich man to continue living. I went on my knees. I said, God, show me my Lazarus, and whatever you do, don't let my Lazarus die. Because if my Lazarus dies, I better go. No. And so, I found my Lazarus with a bunch of kids from Madare. I connected with them. And so for about 7-8 years or so, every week we will cook from Karen and drive all the way to Madare, KCB Sports Club. I have all these kids from Madare show up and began. My assignment was simple. Change their thinking. I say, because if your mind does not leave the slum, your body will not leave. But when your mind leaves the slum, your body will follow. Because your body will go where your mind goes. Is somebody hearing me today? So, we began this. I remember the first day I was having the program at Madare Social Hall. I had developed a curriculum. Because I saw a weakness. I saw that there were so many economic empowerment programs. But if you have the economics right and you don't have the mindset adjusted, it's like winning the lottery. It's not sustainable. So my model was, let us work on the mindsets of these people. Then, if they have money, they'll know what to do with it. So we began. But my very first day going to Madare was a Saturday. And a cousin of mine who worked with the UN You know, she called, said, where are you? I said, on my way to Madari. She said, are you mad? What are you going to do there? You were never, ever visited such a place in Nigeria. You now want to go and commit suicide in Kenya. So I switched off my phone because I learned from David, you know. When David said he's going to kill Goliath and, you know, his brother was trying to talk against him, the Bible says David turned from him to another and spoke the same words. So the problem was not what David was saying. The problem was who he was saying it to. So I switched off my phone and I go to Madari, and it was the best day of my life. I had found my Lazarus. When I get home, later that night, my cousin calls again and says, Wale, you mean I can't talk to you anymore? Are you too big to get instructions? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, you know what? You come to my house tomorrow morning, or tomorrow afternoon. There's somebody I want you to meet who's going to talk some sense into your head. So my wife and I went very humbly, and we saw this elderly man who's supposed to talk sense into my head. And he says, what were you doing in Madari? I shared my curriculum with him. I told him about changing the mindsets. I said, remember, he's supposed to talk sense into my head. He talked too much sense. He said, would you like to do this with the United Nations? I did not know he was a very senior person there. 2 weeks later, I was on my first UN trip. Did a lot, and then UNDP picked me up, and the UN was going through a cultural transformation called Delivering as One, and we were appointed as the firm to drive that initiative. So here I was, a United Nations consultant for about 2-3 years. But think with me, where was my gateway to the UN? Madari. Ask your neighbor, where are you not looking? Come on. Now, who would have believed that the gateway to the United Nations would be Madari? Is somebody hearing me? And it did not stop there. So we're teaching and we're seeing testimonials. And I'm seeing that once the mindset has been worked on, even if you give them a little money, they will bring out the best of it. So we continued doing that. Then COVID happened. So we couldn't continue. Then what did we do? We went online. And we called it the Street University. It was initially for people from Madari. We gave them money for data. They would go and we're teaching, and we're my curriculum, and then we're bringing in people who are teaching from experience, not just from theory. You understand what I'm saying? We began to bring in people. Within a year, I will tell you, it was free, but you had to register. We had over 30,000 subscriptions from all over the world. Iraq, Lebanon, everywhere we had people. I said, how did we get here? Is somebody hearing me today? So we began, and the subscription began to grow. And then we'll give them all sorts of tests to do. I remember, because once we were able to work on the mindset, the economics would not be a problem. And that's why I'm starting with this today. No matter how much money you have in your hand, your money will never grow beyond the permission of your mindset. Your life will never advance beyond the permission of your mindset. All right? So, we began to give our students tests based on something I had read. Harvard was doing a test, and they gave students $5. And they said a prize will go to whoever is able to multiply this and get the greatest return from this in a day or a day or two. Now, so guys were taking the $5. Somebody went, arranged the discounts with a restaurant. Somebody went, arranged something in a cinema. But the mindset that won realized that this $5 is a distraction. So what did they do? They put aside the $5 and said, what is the real value? How do we get people to come? And how do we get more money? Putting the $5 aside, they identified the core, and that's where people miss it. What is the core? People are chasing distractions. They realized that the $5 was not the core. We are Harvard students. That was the core. That was the selling point. So what did they do? They went to all the top companies and said, tomorrow you are going to have an opportunity to come and pitch to Harvard students so you can hire the brightest minds in America. And people were asked to pay, I think, $100 or so. They made so much money, they did not touch the $5. Ask somebody, where are you not looking? A lot of people are carried away by distractions. And like the Honorable Member of Parliament said, we have a lot of copycat things. You did this, so I'm doing it. Someone did this, I'm doing it. Anyway, so having learned that and the parable of the talents, I decided to give my students a test. Let us test this mindset thing. So we gave our students $10, but 1,000 shillings, okay? And we said, based on this, you go trade and come back and give us your report. Guess what? The first group, the first month, and we said 30 days. First month, they came back, they had made 26,000 shillings from a 1,000 shilling investment. Now, using their story to inspire others, the following month, they did about 40,000. Then a group, you know what they did? They turned 1,000 shillings into 100,000 shillings in 30 days. You know, if you don't know what is possible, you will settle for what is available. So, I realized the issue here has never been about the cash. It's always been about the mindset. Then, we now had another group. We had at the Street University, we did what we call the Street MBA. So we had students, we put them into groups. They have never met each other. One was in Iraq, one was in Lebanon, one was in Southern Sudan. And we put them together and the same test. And they came up with $700. So when that was happening, some people approached me. And they said, oh, you know what? We're seeing what is happening, and they wanted to facilitate an investment. $2 million into the Street University to buy it at that point. You know what? I was confused. I said, what are they seeing? And I'm not going to sell until I see what they are seeing. Because if they are offering me $2 million, they have seen $2 billion. They are not fools. They are not coming because they like me. You understand what I'm saying? They are coming because they saw something. So you know what I did? I closed down. I said, I need to see what they are seeing. Because if I continue and I grow it to a point like that and I now try to monetize, it will be more difficult. So, we stopped it, and then we now saw that what are they seeing? I now saw what they were seeing. And I said, we have it. So, first thing was to repackage Street University from an online learning platform. There are too many. There are too many online learning platforms. And we repackaged it into a financial services provider and a venture capital firm for micro businesses. Because I had seen one of my daughters in Madare, Sharon, we had given her I think 35,000 to buy a sewing machine. She converted and is doing over 100,000 a week. Now, she's built a house for her mother. Are you hearing me? Mindset. And I saw so many stories like that. So I realized what we need to give them is not much. So we capped it at 50,000. So now we're in the process of launching Street University 2.0. Now listen. And then we now said, and I want you to think with me, a subscription model, 300 shillings a month, and they will learn. And our system is so sophisticated. A part of the component was developed in Canada, a part in Silicon Valley, a part in Atlanta. Then the financial part was from Flutterwave. You know, so it's a very complex system and a smart system. So when our students are learning, when they are learning, you know what? The system is recording how much time they have spent there. So no student can come and say, yeah, I've done this. We just look at the back end. So what did we do? Or what are we doing? They will learn for 6 months. Then we do what we did. We put them in a group. And then we give them the first small fund, $10, to go and reproduce. So at the end of the day, we are able to finance them. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying today? Oh, we got the model. And look, if we did our calculations, if you get your 30,000 subscribers back, you do 9 million a month. But with the kind of investment and push we're doing, we're targeting about 1 million subscribers across the globe in a year, which I think is conservative. That means you'll be doing about $3 million a month. Is that a lot of money? Is that a lot of money? Somebody answer me. Answer me. I'm happy you said that because I know I'm in the right place. Ask your neighbor, where are you not looking? So I discovered that the subscription was a distraction. Did you hear what I said? A $3 million, $5 million a month subscription was a distraction. Where was the real action? Then I remembered Harvard. What are the institutions that were birthed from Harvard? Do you want to know? The institutions that were birthed from Harvard. Facebook has its roots in Harvard. How much is Meta worth today? About $1.9 trillion. Microsoft was birthed in Harvard. Today, $3.78 trillion. Then the smaller ones, Dropbox, $8.1 billion. Citadel, $66 billion. So I saw this and I said, guys, the monthly subscription is a distraction, even if it is $10 million a month. I said, what if when these companies were at their formative stages, Harvard had invested in them? Do you think Harvard will be crying over $2 billion issue with Donald Trump today? Where are you not looking? Is somebody hearing me? So we saw that. And we realized, yeah, everybody is happy with the distraction of $5 million a month. But we are concerned about growing these guys so well that from our street university, the next billion-dollar companies in Africa will emerge. And when those companies emerge, guess what? We're shareholders. Is somebody hearing me today? So where are you not looking? Now, let me tell you something. So, and you have all heard the member of parliament say, look for good things to invest in. So, if you want to be part of the street university, Come and talk to me. Buenas Vezana. We can be owners of the greatest. Look, my son has developed an AI tool that if you're a hotel, it will tell you what events are happening, what the competition is doing, what their occupancy is like, everything you like to know. And then it now brings the concept of affiliate marketing. So everybody becomes a marketer. Everybody is making money. He pitched it to a hotel, and the hotel said, okay, we're going to pay, but you know what? How much will it cost for you not to show this to any other hotel for 1 year? There is more money on earth than there are people. Hey, is somebody hearing me today? So where are you not looking? So I said, these are the kind of companies I want to birth from Street University. And you know what? We will be owners. We cannot think for 1 year or 2 years. We need to think in generational terms. Is somebody hearing me today? And you know one of the problems we have, we disqualify ourselves. Ideas come. Ideas come. And then you just, it was Henry Ford who said, if he asked his people what the next big thing was, they would have said faster horses, not cars. Are you hearing me? What is the age of your ideas? With the exception of the table where the member of parliament is, I want you to ask your neighbor, what is the age of your ideas? Are you hearing me? What is the age of your ideas? But you see, there's another word we use a lot in Africa, and I think I talked about it here before, the word benchmark. We benchmark a lot of stuff, but my question is, the pyramids that were in Egypt for 3,800 years, the tallest man-made structures, who were they benchmarking? London Underground, set up in 1863, a city beneath a city, first of its kind, who were they benchmarking? In 2011, they were celebrating 200 years since the master plan of Manhattan was developed. 200 years, a master plan that was set up for cars when people were riding horses. Who are they benchmarking? You know what the problem is? They were benchmarking their imagination. And we have an upper hand. Doesn't the Bible say, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, neither has it entered into the hearts of men, the things that God has prepared for those who love him? But he did not stop there. He says, but he has made them known to us. But when the idea comes, the first thing you are looking for, who has done it? Who has done it? You know what we call such people where I come from? Mumu. Who has done it? Who has done it? You can look, if you invest in the fertility of your mind, you will benchmark your imagination. Are you hearing me today? If society is growing faster than your thinking, you are an endangered species. Is somebody hearing me? Your mind must be ahead of your time. What's the next big thing? Your mind must be ahead of your time. Look, there's a principle I live by. It's called the gap. The member of parliament talked about gaps. And there are 3 questions I ask myself whenever there's a situation brought before me. And the question that I ask myself, what can you do? What do you know? Who do you know? Armed with the gap, February, I was in the South Coast with the leadership of Transoya County. And we're taking their leadership through a whole process of transformational thinking and all that. And one day, in the course of conversation, it came out from the governor and the speaker, later on, that Transoya did not have a university. And they wanted a university. Gap. Don't disqualify yourself. You see, before, When I had shallow thinking, I said, oh, that's the government. Oh, I don't have the money. Yeah. But you know what? The gap. What can I do? So I asked them, I said, what if we found somebody who already has a university somewhere and we can come and set up a campus here? I said, fantastic. While we were talking, I texted somebody and I said, there's a great opportunity here to set up a university, state of the art, because that person had a state of the art university. And within 30 seconds to 60 seconds, less than a minute, my phone rang. It was President Obasanjo. President Obasanjo has the best technical university in Nigeria. He called, he said, I love that. Wale, let's do it. He said, bring a team to Nigeria to meet with him and to see the university. I mean, that university is phenomenal. Then he said, if they like what they see, then we will send a team and we can get things going. Well, I did what he said. I took a team and they sent a team. I am happy to announce right now we are in the process of procuring land. We are putting, can you imagine that? The number of people that will be employed simply because of an idea over lunch. Are you hearing me? Now, I spoke with the president two days ago. He said, we need to put the board of the Kenyan Obasanjo Foundation together. He said, so the President Ruto is going to nominate somebody. He said he wants Kenyans. President Ruto will nominate somebody. He said, you nominate somebody. I said, how on earth did I get into that WhatsApp group? Is somebody hearing me today? Ask your neighbor, where are you not looking? I said, I may have been in Kenya for 30 years and done a few things, but I think this is the biggest of all where legacy is concerned. Because that university is going to be there. So benchmark your imagination. Let me ask you something else. And look, we all use ChatGPT at some point or the other, don't we? Fantastic. When was ChatGPT released? Does anybody know? I'll tell you. November 30, 2022. Okay? So that means before November 30, 2022, there was no ChatGPT expert on earth. Except the people that were developing it. Yes or no? That means before November 30, 2022, everybody on earth, as far as GPT was concerned, was on the same level. Isn't it? Good. If you go online today and just type, go to YouTube and just type ChatGPT expert, you will see people 4 million views, 5 million views. They are being paid to teach other people. And they had no advantage in September 2022. So the greatest limitation you have now is a limitation to stay with the familiar. Are you hearing me? With what you are used to, with the comfortable, and not stretching your thinking, stretching your imagination. Because if you do not stretch yourselves to attain to what can be, you will always be a prisoner of what has been. Is somebody hearing me today? These are people making tons of cash. Then I saw something else. I saw that one of the greatest skills of the future is the ability to prompt AI. Is somebody hearing me? How do you prompt AI to be able to deliver exactly what you want it to deliver? So guess what? I developed a curriculum for AI prompting. And you will pay for it. Is somebody hearing me? Because that is the way forward. Because everything is going to be AI. Now there's super AI, it's just going to keep growing. Now, and I remember many years ago, the artists were using paint brushes, airbrushes, and all that. But you know what? The time came when computers, software came that could do what they were doing, and they could do it in minutes. That's what's happening again. So where are you not looking? I saw AI prompting as a big thing. So, let me tell you something. Another thing I saw, and so he who prompts best will get the best of AI and will be at the top. So we need to teach people the language of prompting. I have been able to prompt movie quality videos. I've been able to prompt even with the right accents that I want. Is somebody hearing me? And you know what? It's free. It's available there. But if you will not pay the price to get it, you will pay the people who have paid the price to get it. Is somebody hearing me? Again, where are you not looking? I looked at a lot of the case studies we were using for business. They were foreign. I'm so happy today we've heard of Munga, we've heard of James Mangi, we've heard of all those, apart from the guys abroad. Because we had only foreign case studies. And I said, the business secrets of Warren Buffett. I said, but we have those here. How come? And if we are not telling our stories, then anybody can tell it the way they want, isn't it? Anybody can tell it the way they want. So, I'm an author. You guys know we have books out there. I've written 26 books on leadership, development, and the development of the mind. So I've written 26 books. But then we now saw there are so many stories. And what did we do? We set up a company called African Legends Publishing to now begin to capture the stories of other people. Our model, again, was very simple. You know, somebody said, I love this definition of civilization. Civilization is your ability to make the best use of the resources available at any point in time. The ability to make the best use of resources available at any point in time. So it's got nothing to do with how educated you are. You can be an educated, uncivilized person. Is somebody hearing me today? So, we realized, let's get these authors, great stories. Our authors are busy people. They don't have time to write. They don't know how to write. I mean, they can write their reports and all that, but to sit down and craft a book. So, what did we do? We crafted a unique model where our authors never need to pick a pen to write anything or type anything. And what did we do? We had Zoom sessions with our authors. We have about 6 Zoom sessions with them, have conversation, we are recording, then it is transcribed. And once we have the transcript, we have a group of editors who will take it and turn the transcript into a manuscript, and in 90 days, you have your book. Is somebody hearing me? Now, I did not know what we got into. Where's Peter? Where's Peter? He was sitting here a minute ago. Please, I want him to come and show his book. One of my authors, he's from here. So I told him to come with me. He had tried 40 businesses that failed. 40. You know, let me tell you, if you do 2 businesses that fail, and after the 3rd attempt, you say, you know what, it's over. People will understand. But you've done 40 that failed, and you kept going on. And now, his business, I was with his team a few days ago, and just training their mindsets to achieve their targets. Companies have called me from Dubai, from different places to do that. Help arrange our mindset. This is the target. How do we get the mindset that will deliver that target? So I was with his team. And what their target for this year is, are you ready? 1.2 billion. From 40 failed businesses. So we wrote a book. The man, the book is titled The Man Who Refused to Fail. Now, then we realized there are so many people who want to write their stories, including the member of parliament. And they don't have the time. So guess what? The thing exploded. Now, so we put the books on Amazon. I have Wangeshi. Stand. Wangeshi is also from here. She's one of the people that make me look brilliant in public. I'm surrounded by a team that makes me look very intelligent in public, by the way. You know, so when we finish the book, Wangeshi puts it on Amazon for an international market so you can earn USD while you are sleeping. Come on. And then, you know, the thing became so big. We tried to get into bookshops and stores, and we realized, oh my goodness, there is no bookshop big enough for us. Because by the end of this year, we're having 200 authors. Which bookshop will take us? So we decided we're setting up African legend bookshops. And we'll bring Nobel laureates. The bookshop is going to be small. Then an intellectual conversation area where you can bring a Wole Soyinka to come and share his experiences and all that. How many of you would love that? I knew you would love it. That's why we are starting it. Are you hearing me today? Ask your neighbor one more time. Where are you not looking? Come on, say it louder. They need to hear. Turn to the other neighbor and shout. They need to hear. Are you hearing me? Let me wrap up by telling you a story. Talking of, just to reiterate what our MP, Honorable Nyeri, was saying. Listen to this. When we got into this, we realized Africans, we understand real estate, but we have not yet tapped into the power of intellectual property. Peter, I was talking about you. That is the $1 billion, amen, shilling, but say amen to $1 billion. Where's your book? You don't have it here. Okay, no problem. That's the guy. He's from here. Are you hearing me? So I realized, where are you not looking? We saw that, hey, Africans understand real estate, but we don't understand intellectual property. And when you look at real estate, let me give you an example. When my father died, there was one house that he had, and we looked at the rent we were collecting. Somebody offered us money for the house, okay? Let me tell you something. You better get rid of some emotional attachments that are taking you nowhere. So we looked at the house. Somebody offered us money for the house, sir. So we said, oh, the emotion, it's daddy's house. Okay. By the time we did our calculations, the rent that is being paid, and all the repairs and all that is from that rent. Do you know how many years it would take to collect the money somebody was offering me at a go? Do you know how many years? 256 years. I said, even my father will knock my head from heaven if I don't sell this house. 256 years because of some emotional attachment. Honey, I sold it in a hurry. And you see, I'm now able to do bigger things. Are you hearing me today? Where are you not looking? Intellectual property, I believe, is one of the next big frontiers, especially with the content creator economy. We're not looking in those areas. But we are at African Legends. I looked, you can Google all these things I'm saying. Just Google when you get time. Top earning dead celebrities. Did you hear what I said? Top earning dead celebrities. The celebrity that earned the most amount of money on earth last year was Michael Jackson, who died in 2009. He made $600 million from intellectual property. Is somebody hearing me? Bob Marley made, I think, $40 million or so. Marilyn Monroe, who died before I was born, made like 10 million. I said, how can dead people be making more money than you this mumu? Is somebody here? How can a dead person be making more money than you? Taiwo is here, my wife. We've been married for 33 years. Okay? But we've been friends for forever. So when we were in school, I remember 1988, her godfather died. He was an Englishman. So they went to England, you know. They were the posh ones. We were the village ones. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a miracle that I'm married to. Anyway, so they went to England for the funeral of the godfather. Now, the godfather was an author. He had 10 godchildren. Okay? 10. Now, from 1989, so that was 88, they went for the funeral. From 1989 up to last year, every September, it's September, hallelujah. You know, every September, all the 10 godchildren get a check. I remember when it started, 10,000 pounds, 5,000 pounds. How? 7,000 pounds. You know where it's coming from? Intellectual property, royalties from his books. And I said, there's something here we have not yet tapped into. Books I wrote in 2012, in 2010, are still making money for me today. It was books that sent my children to a lot of overpriced, overrated international schools. You understand what I'm saying? It was books. It was the most dependable. And I say, people have not yet tapped in to this. We are still looking at a plot. Now, let me ask you, and I'm going to wrap up. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. I got, and I've learned my lesson in Kenya. Never throw out figures when you're talking. Are you hearing me? Hey, I better go. But I can tell you categorically that my intellectual property is my most valuable asset today. It's my most valuable asset. And so I keep writing books. I just keep doing it. Because, look, God forbid, if anything should happen to me, I have left an inheritance for my children, my children's children, to the 4th and 5th generations. How do you think Michael Jackson's children are feeling today? 600 million just come in. How do you think the author of Harry Potter, writing, net worth 8 billion. That's what she's made from that book, 8 billion. And she will continue to make that money. And she was broke when she started. She was broke. So, where are you not looking? I'm going to continue from here tomorrow morning. Are you going to be here? I'm going to continue from here tomorrow morning because I believe the key to our prosperity as a people is not in the familiar. The key to our prosperity is in the unfamiliar. It is in where we are not looking. Little did I know that a simple idea to put content online and turn it into a financial services provider had the potential of generating revenue comparable with what we read about in Forbes and Fortune and all those magazines. And that's why I decided, let's build a community of investors around these things. Is somebody hearing me today? Let me end by sharing. Thank you. The last time I was here, I had some books. They're outside there, but I tell you what, all these, okay, this one was here last year. The Experience from Customer to Ambassador. Was this here last year? Some of you got this. Because I know that, the quickest way, I'm going to need help. The quickest way to grow your business, if you're interacting with people, is to create the best experience possible. If two people are selling the same thing in the same place at the same price, what's going to determine who makes the sale is the experience, the person selling it. But all these, 1, 2, 3, 4, all these are books for this year that were written this year. Is somebody hearing me? This one is called Brand Control, a practical guide to shaping and owning your personal brand. I had a friend who was a director of marketing in Lagos at a telecoms company. And after she lost her job, she discovered, nobody called her, nobody remembered her. She went into a depression. And that's because she did not have a brand that was a personal brand that was separate from her corporate brand. And you discover at the end of the day, there are people who will pick your call today simply because of where you represent. So how do you build a brand that is not contained and confined by your titles? Limitless. A lot of what I was talking about today comes from limitless, identifying and overcoming containing mindsets. Because our biggest problem, thank you, is thinking. Because we are so used to the familiar. Now, this yes and no, the two most powerful words on the planet. A lot of people, the problem they have had, they have not said yes to the things they need to say yes to, and they have not said no to the things they need to say no to. So how do you rise above emotions to make those right decisions? This is that. And then I told you last year, I think I did, that 2023 I had a heart attack. Remember that? Did I talk about that? 2020 I had a heart attack. Let me tell you something about me. Anything that happens to me that leaves me alive, it must pay. No, it's true. So I wrote a book, Life After a Heart Attack. Lessons I learned, warnings you need. It's my best-selling book today, sir. So the heart attack is paying for its offenses. It will never come near me again because I will turn it into money. Oh, I'm telling you. And then this one was written by my daughter. And I think everybody who is leading young people needs to get it. It's called Cracking the Gen Z Code. And it's written by a Gen Z herself. All right? So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you. I'll be here tomorrow morning. And we're going to have a great time. We're going to continue from here. But one more time before I sit, ask the person next to you.
Wow, wow, wow. Let's keep clapping until he gets to his seat. Thank you so much. You may have your seats. Thank you so much. I think that has been an amazing session. Don't you think so? I'm just wondering, my phone was at 10%, now it's at 1. I was trying to write. I hope the media team have taken snippets for us. But thank you so much, and may God continue allowing you to just pour your wisdom to us, both speakers. We really, really appreciate. And actually, I think for the young people, I'm sitoki hapa the same. Watu wa maguta, poleni, I apologize. Watu wa maguta, poleni, but I think we are challenged, right? So as we transition to the next session, to the exhibitions expo now, I'll request there will just be a short session. I'll invite Ken to just appreciate a few guests. I think he'll do that from there.
Wow, I think these two guys, when you combine them on the same platform, it is very, very easy to provoke some fire from there. Thank you so much for starting us so heavily. We are really, really challenged. Somebody told me that you cannot grow unless you change. For example, if I added some weight, God forbid, and we meet with you, you are likely to tell me that, hey, you have grown because you can see some change. And you don't change unless you are challenged. So the real source growth is challenge. When you are challenged, you change. When you change, then there is remarkable growth. And that is what you have precisely done, Mheshimiwa and Daktari. Thank you so, so much, and may God continue to bless you. We have the representation from the governor's office, Tafadhali Bwana Mwangi. Thank you so much. He's called Mwangi Box. He's chief officer in charge of trade and investments in Nyeri County. Thank you so much. You have always partnered with us. He's never failed to come for all our breakfast meetings. Asante sana na Mungu aendelee kukubariki. We have Honorable Taiti. Honorable Taiti, I think he left at some point. Yeah, he's an MCA around. And thank you so much. And all of you as distinguished guests, may God bless you. Just one thing that I would want us to do at this particular point, and the media team will help me to do that. There is one amazing guy that I would want to just appreciate from the very depth of our hearts. This is our product, and we would say that this is a journey that we have walked with this guy as our product. And now we are celebrating 1 year from the time he did something magical to us. And media team will at some point cast him. Last year, we had a forum like this, and all the things that you can see, that guy there, let me give a small story. All the things that you can see, from this design to these, to the billboards that you have seen on the roads, it's a work of the hands of a great guy called Boni. Now, Boni was taken ill last year, and he was actually operating at 2 pints of blood. And so we actually crack a joke with him, and we tell him that he is now running on our blood because we donated. Well, I didn't donate, of course, for obvious reasons. But we would want to appreciate him. He was gracious enough last year to do all this, what you can see for last year, from a hospital bed, receiving blood on one hand, and on the other hand, he was doing this for us. What a sacrifice. And we prayed for him. Boni is up now, doing great things. And please, Boni, come over. We would want to appreciate you. I know it's a surprise. Celebrate, Boni. And say, celebrate him until he comes here. We're celebrating him for a whole year. And allow me to ask Mheshimiwa Nyoro, please come over and gift this great human being. After Ben Carson, I'm sure his are also gifted hands. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Boni. You can take your seat. At this particular point, I would want to welcome Maureen to come over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ken. We appreciate you. At this point, I'll invite Happiness Ndanu to just give a vote of thanks, and then we'll be giving the directions to the expo, how we'll get to transition to the expo. Karibu sana Ndanu.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? I hope you've had a very insightful session and learned as much as possible. I'll take this juncture this is my first time, I think, after 5 years to be on this stage and to hold a mic, so I'm a bit nervous. But I'll break the tension with a little story that I'm getting from this expo. So there's a story that was once told of a candle, one lit candle in a room of so many unlit candles. So this room was pitch dark, and it was a bit dull, but at the same time, this one candle was feeling inferior, just a bit discouraged. But a thought came to this candle's mind. What can I do with the little that I have, with that one flame? So I decided to light one candle, and another, and another, and another, and before it noticed, the whole room was bright and shining. And my name is Happiness, so I love just using scenarios that will light up the room. So before this one candle noticed it, the whole room was brightened. And for me, this is a reflection of this expo. I'm sure in one way or another we felt a little bit inferior, or maybe in one way or another felt like we lacked some sort of information that this expo has brought above and beyond our own imaginations. True or true? Yeah. So thank you so much to everyone, and kindly allow me to just refer to this so that I don't miss out on anyone. So above all, I want to thank the Almighty God for this great opportunity. Kama si Mungu, like literally just say ni God. So if it wasn't for God, we wouldn't be here, and this event wouldn't have been a success. And in this order, I would really love to appreciate our guest speakers, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro and Dr. Wale. It's such an honor to even appreciate you from here. Thank you so much for gracing our stage. Kindly let's give them a round of applause. I would also love to appreciate the governor's representative, Mr. Mwangi Box, Honorable Mwangi Box. Also our MP, Honorable Duncan Madenge, thank you. And our MCA Kamakwa Award in absentia, Honorable Taiti, thank you so much. The next category that I would really love to appreciate is the CBF and the Citam fraternity being led by Reverend Jacob Kimanthi, the global patron CBF. Thank you so much. Mr. Dan Kuria, thank you so much. That's the global CBF committee member. Kindly let's give them a round of applause. Allow me to also appreciate, this is CBF Nyeri chapter. Let's not forget, it's Nyeri chapter. So I'd really love to appreciate our clergy, if you're there, and the pastoral team. Kindly, let's stand and wave to the congregation from wherever you are. Thank you so much, Pastor Faith and Pastor Lamek, for making this possible. And allow me to mention our other assemblies that really traveled far and wide to come and support us in this. Citam Embu, Citam Athi River, Citam Meru, Citam Ngong, Citam Nakuru, Citam Nanyuki, and of course, Citam Nyeri. Kindly give them a round of applause. I would also love to appreciate Dr. Agnes Ngure, the chair lady of Scientists Forum, Central Region. If you're here, kindly wave and kindly appreciate her. Situmekula. We've been welcomed and everything was seamless, right? So I would love to appreciate our service providers, starting from the Caritas tents, where our expo will be, Rhino Watch, the Robisearch team that actually made us young professionals and the Gen Zs to shine by trending on X on Tuesday and Thursday, if I'm not wrong, on the top 5 leaderboard. Kindly just give them a round of applause. I would also love to appreciate the originators company that really helped us with the design work, Boni being part of the team, and all the service providers. My apologies if I've missed out on anyone, but we really appreciate you and thank you for making our dream come true. Our exhibitors, wherever you are, I'm sure you're setting up and making sure everything is in order. Thank you so much. At Citam Nyeri, or rather Citam at large, you normally have different ministries, and kindly appreciate the media team and those who are at home are really enjoying it. The protocol team led by Carol, the ushering team, the registration team, and the traffic team. Yeah, we have a traffic group, so kindly appreciate them. I would love to appreciate my own people, the young professionals. Oh yeah. Please, you can do better. You can do better. Thank you so much for being part of this. And above all, where would we be if attendees and delegates weren't here? So kindly give yourself the biggest, loudest clap. Yeah, and just as I wrap up, I just want to say that this is just but the beginning. This breakfast is just but the beginning of amazing things. We've had and internalized so much information that has been shared by different speakers. And now even as we have that at the back of our minds, let's open up our hearts and minds to also learn from those who have exhibited. I always say that the exhibitors, they are pitching their products, but they are very eager to hear what you can bring on board, right? Yeah, so feel free to walk to each and every booth and grace them with your presence, okay? So thank you so much. My name is Happiness. Let me just use this opportunity to say that I'm a food scientist and above all a data scientist. So anywhere data was being mentioned, I was getting chills because I always believe also in using numbers to bring change. So thank you so much for actually even showing me that, yeah, even in top seats, that is what is actually needed. So thank you so much and looking forward to interacting with you all. Santi.
Yes, thank you so much, Danu. We also appreciate you coming on stage and appreciating. Just one more time, I'd like to just mention the sponsors and appreciate them. That is Kingdom Bank, a subsidiary of the Cooperative Bank of Kenya, Dayspring Ventures, Hope Media, that is part of Citam at large. We have Homelink Mabati. We have Extreme Poultry Farm by our very own Ken Kiora. We have CTI Hospital by our young professional. Apo sikosi kusema, young professionals, it's our time. We have CPF Rukisha. We have Robisearch Limited and Dhika Motor Dealers, TMD Kenya. They will be at the exhibition. So at this juncture, I'd like to, we've had Rhino Watch. You've had Rhino Watch somewhere? You've had breakfast, of course, you've seen them. They are offering raffles that will happen tomorrow. There'll be a raffle tomorrow. So we are inviting you and extending the invitation to tomorrow. They are giving us 10 vouchers for lunch. Amjafurahi? 10 vouchers for lunch for 2 people. So it is basically 20 people. 10 vouchers for 2 each. And then they're also offering us 3 vouchers for 2 nights, catering for 2 people. Amazing, isn't it amazing? They have gone beyond what they are offering, what they've only offered us for breakfast. So you can pass by. So the trick is you have to pass by their tent, but the raffle will happen tomorrow. You have to go there and register. At this point, I'll invite Rosemary to just come and give some giveaways. As she comes, you can clap for her. I kill it.
Yes, good afternoon. I want to appreciate our global patron. Reverend, you can come. And also our Mheshimiwa, our area MP, kindly come. Yes, we just want to say thank you. Reverend came yesterday. He came to check whether we have set up well. Thank you for coming to Nyeri. Karibu tena. Take the message to Citam Global that Citam Nyeri CBF Expo is a place to be. Thank you, Mheshimiwa, for honoring us and always attending. Caro? We have goodies from Nyeri. When you go back to Nairobi, tell them you came to the mountain. Thank you. Yes, and our Mheshimiwa, karibu sana. Thank you too. Mheshimiwa is our member. We are always proud of him. Thank you and for coming. Asanteni sana. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. So the directions from here, I'll be requesting Pastor Faith to come and give us the benediction for the breakfast to just close this session, and then we will proceed to the exhibition. So after Pastor Faith finishes, I'll just give the directions. Protocol team, please be on standby.
Wow, what a conference. Come on, we can appreciate these guys better. What a conference, what a time we've had this morning. Is it worth your Saturday morning? If you called again next year, will you come? Amen. And for all that, we give you all. As we stand on our feet, we worship you alone. You are worthy. time, we give you all the glory. We give you all the glory. We worship you alone. You are worthy to be praised. I'd like to turn our focus to the book of Psalm 90, verse 17. You can read from your screens. If you're not able to read from the screens, feel free to swipe on your phone. But we want to make this prayer to God corporately, that everything that we have heard from here today will indeed be a seed that is sown and planted in our hearts. So, if you mean it, and from the very depth of your heart, please read with me. And may the Lord our God show us his approval and make our efforts successful. Yes, make our efforts successful. One more time, let's read it with a bit more conviction this time. And may our God show us his approval and make all our efforts successful. Yes, make all our efforts successful. Father, this is the cry of our hearts this afternoon, that it will not be in vain, our sitting here, our listening, our coming, that indeed you who shows favor to all men, that you would make all our efforts successful. Thank you for this conference. Thank you for the beautiful time you've given us. We pray that, Lord, this word will not stand in judgment against us, that everything we have heard we will indeed do, because you call us not just to be hearers, but also doers of your very word. Thank you for the grace and the favor that you have released in this meeting. We pray by faith that those who came here with just an idea, that, Lord, you will push it into actualization. We pray by faith that those whose businesses are making shillings and thousands, the Lord, you will push them to millions. We pray by faith that those who are making millions, you will push them yet again to billions in the name of Jesus. Thank you because increase is our portion. Thank you because your favor rests upon us. And we give you all the praise and all the glory, because it is you who gives us the ability to make wealth. And now may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you. And may the Lord be gracious unto you. May he increase you. And may your life, your business, be a true testament of a God who lifts and favors both now and forevermore. In Jesus' name. Come on, help me celebrate the Lord. Hallelujah.
Amen, amen. And in the spirit of the young professionals, I'd just like us to take a selfie while you're standing and say CBF Business Forum 2025. Right? You ready? Okay. So, yeah. So this is the bigger selfie, and then now, but you can tag your friend, right? So let us do this. CBF 25. Yes. Thank you very much. You may have your seats. Protocol team. So moving forward, I request us to just honor our guests, to just allow them leave as the first ones. This table followed by the tables next to each other. Then the exhibitors are ready for us. We will all head to the exhibition point where prayers will be led by Dan Kuria from CBF Ngong. And then Anne Wangeshi will lead us from there. I've been your moderator. I'm Nyeri Kerera, CEO and founder of Rejesha Beauty Hub, and I am exhibiting. Mpitia hapo. Thank you very much. It's been an honor. I think we can just proceed from here.
My brother. Always good to see you. But we must stop making this thing once a year. Seeing you once a year.
Thank you for your patience. You can now proceed to the expo.
Come on, ladies. Yeah, we see each other more often. Yes, sir. I never get bored, I always get inspired. Thank you very much. You know when you come here, your mind is out.
That we can have our exhibition officially open. Karibuni sana. There's a way to have our exhibition officially open. So we will have a prayer for our businesses, led by our very own Dan Puria from Citam Gong.
Shall we pray? Father, in the name of Jesus, we want to thank you for this wonderful day. We want to thank you for how you've worked on us, on our minds, Almighty God. We confess that we shall never be the same. We will take everything that you've given us to be able to change Africa and to change everything that's around us. Father, we thank you for these businesses that are here. Thank you that they have heeded to your mandate. Be fruitful and multiply. And therefore, Lord, we are asking you that you may strengthen them from strength to strength, that they may grow, they may have an impact in Africa, Almighty God. Father, we thank you for everything that we need is provided. We have everything pertaining to life and godliness. And therefore, we thank you that these businesses will only grow bigger and better. We thank you for all the views that we're going to see. And Father, we are praying that we may learn as much as we can. We thank you and bless you as we actually ask you to bless this particular this exhibition. And thank you for all those who have contributed, who have sponsored, and who have had a hand. We thank you again in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much, Banadan. And we will proceed to opening our exhibitions officially, read by our chief guest, Honorable Dindi Nyoro, will be assisted by our guest speaker, Dr. Wale, our area MP, Mr. Duncan Matenge, and our own Reverend Jacob. Kindly, thank you very much.
Tell even the others to come. I'm requesting even the others to come, the exhibitors. It's your day, tafadhali kujeni. And even the other Christians.
You want to be in the middle, right? Huh?
Thank you very much, Mohesh. Tafadhali karibia. Daktari, I'm just a master, so you can also add more weight into it. Thank you very much. And we want to now declare this Citam Business Forum officially open, and also all the exhibitions that are displaying their products here officially open today.
Turudi nyuma kuwa kuna takwa.
I've always supported us. Personally, they have supported my business. Thank you.
We are also in Nyeri.
Asante sana.
Vale.